All right, awesome.
Right. Can you guys hear me this time?
I mean, I can hear you at least. I hopefully the
That's a
stream
good
can.
sign. I did a stream with Eternal the other week, and everything was going wrong. Everything possible.
Oh, was it because of OBS or YouTube?
It was because of my microphone, apparently.
Oh,
It was only doing it on YouTube for some reason.
hopefully it's good. At
What?
least I can hear you at least.
The stream's not actually started for me. This is strange.
It hasn't for me
I
either.
can hear you at
Oh,
least.
okay, there we go. Stream's not actually started for me. This is strange. And we got it. Hi guys. Right. Hello, Kaiyo. Sorry.
Hi.
I was in a little bit of a rush to sort out my OBS that we haven't actually spoken all that much yet. How you doing?
No worries. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm really excited for this new chapter of JJK, which we should be getting later on, if all
Yeah,
goes to
it
plan.
feels longer than normal, especially because I guess we were kind of expecting to get the chapter a week ago,
Yeah,
and then there was the waiting of every day, like, oh, it's gonna come the next day. It's gonna come the next day. So it feels like it's been an eternity, to be honest.
I think I've seen like on my Twitter, JJK259's been trending ever since Miyamura said about like it can just drop anytime. It's just been constantly trending for me.
Yeah, I mean, people really want this chapter, and hopefully, we get some crazy stuff. I mean, the end of the last chapter ended with the editor saying, certain death is coming. So, I
Yeah.
don't know. People saying Choso. If it's Choso, man, bro, I might have to go out with Choso. I can't even lie. Like, there's no way.
Yo, what's up, Cooley? Yeah, we do know each other IRL. That's very true. How you doing? Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Chozo. I'm just not gonna allow that. To be honest, it's not okay. Miwa. I don't know how a domain is holding how a simple domain is holding up in this. To be honest, I have no idea. I don't know how she's escaping from this without like maybe Wei Wei's help. Maki needs Miwa to survive Malevolent Shrine. Who else is in there? Ino probably will be alright. To be fair, the narrator does like to screw us around a little bit as well, so it could just be that no one in that chapter dies and it's someone else completely.
I mean, it was the editor, not the narrator. So
Yeah.
like the editor could be wrong. There's a lot of times the editor says stuff just to hype a chapter or the next chapter. Unlike the narrator, which is surprisingly not impossible for the narrator to be wrong, which is weird. It shouldn't be like that, but yeah.
I mean, the narrator is like strange. Seems I can like smell bias a lot of the time. Don't know what's up with that, but I do at least appreciate the comments about Sukuna being desperate in Yuta's domain. Ever since then, narrator's been on my good side. But
And the narrator saying like His Majesty the King to Sukuna,
yeah,
like, oh, dude, that we know it's Gege. We know it's Gege Akatami.
Actually, speaking of Sukuna glazing, we could just get a Hakari Uraume chapter. I wonder how you feel about that. Do you think it's the right time to bring that back in?
I mean, I think it should have come like an age ago, to be honest. Like the little look back we got, I think it was like 6-7 chapters ago, where we just saw them for a page. They weren't even fighting. They were just talking for like, to be honest, 2 pages. I think that wasn't even enough.
Yeah.
We need at least like 2, 3. To be honest, 6-7 chapters dedicated to that fight, but it's mostly been off screen, which sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I think every week I see people saying, this is the week we're getting Hakari's joining the fight, or that we're gonna get Hakari or Uraume chapter. And then I feel like for the last, I don't know, 3-4 chapters, the way they've been ending, I don't think a Hakari or Uraume chapter fits in anywhere after the way any of the recent chapters have ended. Like, if this chapter this week was a Hakari Uraume chapter, regardless of the fact I wanted to see it a while ago, I don't care that much anymore. I just want to see what's going to happen now with, like, Yuji.
I mean, I think he could fit it in somewhere, like he did with the Higuruma traps Sukuna in his domain. That's where the chapter ends, and then the
Yeah.
next chapter just randomly starts with Hakari and Uraume, and it fit. I don't think it's, especially if he starts the chapter with it, it's not impossible.
Like it doesn't have to be
But
the
it
whole
is,
chapter.
yeah, it is one of those things where, I mean, at this point, the fight's been mostly off-screened. It's kind of dead, isn't it? I don't know. It
Yeah.
just sucks.
Yo, Eternal, what's up? Thank you. Oh, thank you very much for the $5 and Jerry. Yeah,
Shout out to.
Jerry indeed. Actually, I should probably take a look at chat. I'm still so bad at this streaming thing. I constantly ignore my chat.
I mean, ST asks, what are the odds Yuta comes back in Gojo's body? I think
In
maybe he's trying to
Gojo's
say
body.
the opposite, where it's like, or I guess, yeah, maybe he's referring to an Ui, like, would switch Yuta's soul and place it into Gojo's body, because he can't do that for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, they're
That would be
they're kind
crazy,
of
I can't
both
even lie.
they're kind of both suffering the same injury at the moment though, so I don't know how that helps them in
No,
any
because,
way.
like, think about it. Gojo's corpse could have been healed, so he's dead, but Shoko could heal a corpse, so there's no longer the mortal wound, like, it's fixed, at least the body's fixed.
Hmm.
And then they put Yuta inside that empty. It's how, like in I don't know if you've seen JoJo's Part 5.
I haven't.
Do you mind spoilers?
No, go for it.
Basically, there's this ability where you can like in the entire city, someone's stand. It's pretty crazy. It's a requiem. It switches out the souls of everyone with someone else. And
Right.
one of the characters is like in a body that's basically dead. But even so, like the soul is put into the body of someone else, and he can at least survive for a bit longer than that. But obviously, when the souls are meant to be switched back, he can't go back to his own body, and he just dies. But I guess that's not going to be the case in Yuta's scenario. It's so stupid. It's not going to happen, but I guess it's not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Wiwi's ability's definitely gonna come into it somewhere. I had some like strange theory about, using like the idea of kind of swapping out Gojo's soul, something to do with Nobara, and like finding a way to at least save one of them from that, because Nobara is basically just in stasis, right? Or at least in theory she is. We actually don't know anything at all, but I have hope that this is how Nobara kind of becomes part of the story again, is with everything we're doing with all this soul information. Yuki's soul book still such a big mystery. Wiwi's ability, like, it's got to be a setup for some kind of soul-related return of Nobara, or at least give her some use, Because I feel like it's been ignored for a little bit too long, and I hope it's been ignored deliberately so that she gets a big moment.
I mean, it has been over half of the story since she was eliminated. And I pray to God she comes back. I really want her to come back and just do something. I mean, the technique is really suited, especially to fighting Sukuna stronger opponents. It's one of those techniques that it's purely hex based
Yeah,
and it can't be power cliffed. It's not one of the, like, it just gets weak. It can't. It doesn't matter how strong the opponent is, as long as the circumstances are right. It can be really, really powerful. And to be honest, I think she solves a lot of problems, which is very likely why she's removed from the story
yeah.
as sudden as she was, which is still like not an excuse. It was still very badly written. The entire thing, like the entire thing of Nobara, was just garbage. But it would be nice to see her come back. It would be pretty nice.
Yeah, no, it would. I mean, I was going through the fan book for like the first time, I don't know, 1-2 weeks ago, and it was reading Nobara's section. It says something really interesting about her technique, where resonance is just. I just found this a really like strange random detail to throw in. Gege said resonance is just much more effective when used specifically on something like a hand or a foot. And I just had the immediate thought of Sukuna has got so many hands lying around this battlefield at the moment. And there's this random ass detail of, I mean, this is like pure copium because I want Nobara to do this so bad. But this random ass detail of Nobara's technique is stronger again when like hammered into a hand. And I was like, yeah, this makes perfect sense. Pure absolute like trash copium. But I still found it pretty interesting. And I just love her technique in general.
Yeah, I mean, I would. her and Toto, man, I don't know what is Toto's makes even less sense to be honest. Like at
Toto's
least
yeah,
Nobara
Toto's terrible.
thing, but Toto's just makes no sense why he's not been seen. I mean, it is what it is. At this point, like the story, it's very close to the finish line. You know, we've already pretty much almost done with the Sukuna fight, but it would still be nice to at least see both of them, hopefully, at least one of them, show up anyway, just for the sake of it. I think
Yeah. I mean, even like Toto just should have been around. Still, as a
it
character,
makes it
he's
makes no
fine.
sense. I mean, like, what's her name? Hana and Angel, they lost an entire like arm, so not even just a hand, an arm. And she's so she can't fight. She's incapacitated.
Yeah.
But at least she's sitting there the entire time. She's talking to like making plans. She's there in the flashbacks making plans, even though she's not a fighter anymore. So it's like, and Toto's got insane battle IQ. He's like a very good teacher. It makes no sense why he isn't. It just doesn't make sense why he's not
Yeah.
there.
It's really messy. Nobara, Toto, and Inamaki fighting Sukuna next. At least, I mean, Inamaki's lost an arm as well, but he at least still has a technique.
Inumaki's gonna tell Sukuna like stop moving, and he's just gonna die from a
Yep.
heart attack or
Oh
something.
yeah, for sure.
His throat will
He
just
can't even
explode.
be on the battlefield. Like, if he makes a noise, he's dead.
Yeah, he's not Yuta, man. He's not him.
It is not. Nobara's technique is hacks. Yep, she'll come back since Megumi didn't say anything to Yuji. I mean, he didn't say anything, but it's like that moment. If you're talking about the moment, I think you are in like chapter 141 or something. There's like a silence, but it's a very suggestive silence that Nobara is not okay. And then Yuji's like, ah, I see. But yeah, you're right. He didn't say anything.
It's so bad. Oh my god, it's so bad. I don't know. I just don't know what like possessed Gege to write this way. Like do this to Nobara. I just don't know. I wish like, if there was one question I could ask Gege, like only one for the rest of my life, if I had opportunity, I just ask him like, bro, what are you doing with Nobara? Can you
Yeah,
like if she's dead, please just say she's dead. Just say it. Like if she's incapacitated, if she's in a coma, like just say it.
yeah. I just need information.
Because like half the story's gone. Sukuna's like we're at the end stages of the Sukuna fight. I mean, and I don't know.
I feel like Gege was expecting people to like just move on from Nobara and Todo. I think in his mind he does it. People will be upset about it for a while, and then we get halfway through culling games, and everyone just kind of moves on.
I mean, it's a bit tough when you have a fan favorite, and she is one of the three main characters, and I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't think he was expecting. To be honest, I think he probably had the way he wrote Nobara off. Maybe he was thinking like, oh, maybe if I want to, like, I'll make it very ambiguous. So if I want to bring it back, I could. But then he decides not to, and then all the ambiguity and like chance of her returning begins to hurt the story because he said it, because he left it so open ended, and because he left that as a possibility.
Yeah,
I feel like even he wasn't sure what he wanted to do, and that's why he left it that way, which is not good at all.
yeah. I think a lot of JJK is driven by just Gege writing. I mean, I guess it's like it's a very good thing as well, but he absolutely just writes like Gege just writes what they want to write. There's no
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's purely just based off this is what I want. This character is like it's got this purpose, serves their purpose, and then they're done, and I don't need them anymore moving forward, so they can go. I don't really give a shit what you fans think. Like fan favorite main character, I don't care. Don't need her anymore. And then Nanami got his amazing ending straight after Nobara just gets trash.
Yeah, Gege said that it's really interesting, and it makes it like once you hear this, because Gege said this himself, like everything begins to make sense.
Yeah,
He said that the way he writes JJK is two things. The first one is – he's only thought of the beginning, the end, and it's just really massive, like extremely massive plot points that need to happen,
Yeah.
and that's all he knows. Everything else, like he just goes along as the story goes. Like he's
Yeah.
genuinely filling the blanks as we go. So he knows, for example, like if I had to guess what he meant by big plot points, like Sukuna taking Megumi's body, Gojo fighting Sukuna. So he knows that these things need to happen, but like what happens in between the actual story, like he is just making it up as he goes. Which I guess is like incredible that he's able to make such a story
Yeah.
as he's going, just knowing like the big plot points. But it does tend to create like issues with the Nobara thing. And the second issue is like not issue, but just again, these are Gege's own words. He said that what he focuses on the most is hype chapters, like having the most hype, crazy action-packed chapter every week, and solely that, which is
Yeah.
great, I guess, for the weekly read because it's made JJK as big as it. Like you can't deny that it works
Oh yeah, for sure.
because JJK, like yeah, it's the biggest manga in the world. It's just every week like, people are so hungry for chapters because of the way Gege writes it. They're desperately looking for leaks. Like it works, but then the issue is like when you look at it once the like chapters are out and you look at it overall, you can see like that sort of writing style. It does have like a big effect on the story, I think, and we can see that in instances such as Nobara is is probably the biggest victim of this writing style, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in the same like, I think I was yeah, because I've heard that thing about what Gege said in the interview before, and the same applies to like, so he said Megumi's character is like, sorry, he said Megumi's ending is decided. Obviously, I'm not saying that can't change, but at least when this interview like went ahead, Megumi's ending is decided. Yuji's was very much up in the air, and then also there's like I think there was something about Gege struggling to write Yuji, and Gege just was responding like, "Yeah, I'm just, I can't remember when exactly this was, but it's like I just don't feel like I'm good at writing Yuji." And so it's interesting to see what's kind of going on with Yuji, knowing that it wasn't set in stone the same way Megumi's ending is, and I'm quite curious to know like how that's all going to tie up. The whole thing with Megumi is confusing. Like Eternal said, Gege could have lied in these interviews because he already lied about Gojo telling Megumi about Toji. That's interesting. If Gojo's alive, won't be a lie. But it is very possible Gege hasn't been completely honest, which it wouldn't surprise me because you wouldn't want to just spill everything, you know, to like in an interview before your story's even really started. So
I mean,
I'll take it with a little pinch of salt, but yeah, I think like it can be really messy. You can definitely see those gaps getting filled in.
yeah, I definitely think, and that's the issue because well, first of all, the Megami thing is just like the biggest tell sign of this issue of writing. Like you only know the massive plot points, and you're just filling everything in like as you go. Yeah, that's one of them, for example. And there's probably so many things. Because he even said there's a lot of things he sets up, and there's a lot of ideas he has like that he thinks of along the way, and he incorporates, for example, I imagine like the Fujiwara clan, a lot of
Mm,
the Heian lore that we have, like so much of this stuff, and Yorozu and the Angel both talking about like the commandments, sins, and like my religion, Sukuna, like there's so much to it. There's so much that's been set up and foreshadowed. We'll probably never know because again, that's something Gege. It was said in the same interview. Like he sets all these things up, he writes them in, but he doesn't know if he'll ever like continue all them or end these plot points. Like simply because he's just getting to the big stuff. And then when you add that, the Gates himself is saying this, and when you add that on top, like the other statement that he's made, where he wants to make every chapter like as hype as possible, that's his goal. Which again works from a sales point of view, from a weekly point of view. It is the most effective, I think, strategy we've ever seen from a shonen mangaka. Like
yeah,
you just can't deny it. Like it works.
yeah, for
But
sure.
when you look at it from a uh, like long term point of view, like when the story's over, when you can see, like let's say the past 250 chapters, not including, no, like forget about weekly, just the past 250 chapters, you can definitely see so many issues with this like method of writing, where it's great week to week, but overall, like, because whenever I have people read JJK for the first time, one thing I always hear from people, this is the most common thing I hear, it's just too fast, it's rushing through, it's skipped through, like, so much stuff. It's skipped through, like, it's nice that it's quick, fast paced, but it's just skipped through so much that it feels like an incomplete story. Like, that is the most common thing I hear. Not from people, like, weekly people wouldn't realize this at all, but from people who are like just starting reading from chapter one, they like catch up to now. Like, they'll feel like so many, maybe like 100 or 200 chapters worth of information is just missing. It
Yeah.
feels like to these people. It's something like it's very common that I hear.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's something interesting about JJK, like you were saying, it's done so well, like it's so hugely popular. It's a strange thing because I feel like Gege has done a ridiculously good job at setting up a story with the potential for incredible world building and like this amazing story with great characters. That is a really hard thing to do in itself. Like, it's so difficult to do that. It's been set up perfectly, and the problem is it's not ever going to get actually expanded on. So Gege has done a phenomenal job at, like, actually almost, oh, I don't want to say accidentally, because obviously it is still talent, but Gege had this image in his mind of, like, what the ending would look like, or what a certain character's story would look like, and then he wants to fill in the gaps. And then by filling in the gaps, you have just, like, because of what that does, if you need, like, an answer to something, or how this character is going to manage to achieve this, you're then just left with loose threads, which are never going to get tied up. So by doing that, Gege's done it so well that there are now so many opportunities for world building and storytelling that it's so noticeable and it's become a problem. But it's impressive in the first place that he was even able to create a world with this much potential, and it does just make it that much more disappointing that we're not going to see, you know, probably not going to see a lot more. Especially in terms of the Heian era. I just want to see the Heian era so badly. Like, Sugawara and that, so cool.
Yeah, I feel like this is the most frustrating part of all of it. It's the fact that, see, like, whenever I say these things, people say, "Oh, do you think Gege is a bad writer?" Like, it's the opposite. The issue is like, I think when you have a writer this good, someone this talented, and they're doing this still, like, this that's when I have an issue. Like, if Gege was a bad writer, I wouldn't have an issue. Okay, you
Yeah.
know, he's a trash writer, like, whatever. I just don't care. He's not capable. The issue comes like when this guy is so talented, like, he's so good at writing. Even like when he's doing things week to week, he's genuinely filling in the blanks as he goes, beside like the big plot points in his own words. He's this good at everything,
Yeah.
yet he chooses, like, he's actively choosing is the issue, to sacrifice like the writing of the actual the whole story as a whole, like the whole, how do I say, the puzzle, for the sake of weekly hype, weekly sales, like the best weekly, like, possible weekly experience for a manga, which is like, I guess, nice week to week. It's amazing week to week, but it's just when you look back on the story, it's very, I don't know. Again, like, it's sad, and the issue is like, it's because he's so good at writing, and he chooses to, like, he's choosing to do this, which I can't blame. Again, like, most highest selling manga, most popular manga anime, so it worked, but yeah, it just leaves a lot of, like you said, loose threads. A lot of loose threads, to be honest. Things left open ended, a lot of things never touched upon, and a lot of world building, character interactions, potential arcs, character moments in development just never will never get, for the
Yeah.
sake of getting to the good stuff as fast as possible.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. I honestly, one of the most fun videos. I mean, I always have fun with theory videos, but one of the most fun videos I ever made was just the April Fool's, like, troll video where I basically wrote a really crap chapter of JJK. I kind of had a moment where I sat there, I was like, I low-key want to just go and write these stories myself. Like, the Heian era, we're never going to get to see it. Like, I need something that I can look at and go, oh, that's really cool. You know, if I'm not going to get it from Gege, I had so much fun doing that. I was like, I feel like I just need to sit here and write it myself at this point because it's so disappointing knowing you're never going to see these stories.
I mean, hopefully. I mean, if we get a Haynara flashback, I need at least 10 chapters, please, Gege. At least 10. I mean, it's I don't even know how he would. Maybe after Sukuna beats everyone. Everyone's not dead. They'd be around too. You know, we can have a sort of in between part where Sukuna thinks on the Haynara, like, wow, you know, that was fun. Maybe we get a flashback. I don't know. It's probably one of my biggest worries that we never get
Yeah,
to see the Haynara.
yeah, for sure. Cloudy Days. Yo, who is Allons-Y talking to? Who's spitting? Kaiyo Breeze, mate. Or Kaiyo Breeze, sorry. Goated JJK YouTuber. Channel linked in the description. Everyone go check him out.
Thanks. This I appreciate it. I'm not that thingy, but thank you.
We should. Oh, we also should get more fillers to. I don't know about like with the amount of actual story we're missing. Filler is the last thing we need.
I feel like I don't know, because like at what point what becomes filler?
Well, I think
Like, what do you count as filler?
I don't think there is like an actual chapter of JJK filler. Like there is what I would call filler is. Have you read the? I don't know what it is. Like chapter 165.5, and it's just Yuta, Maki, and Inumaki
Yeah.
work in a restaurant for a day. That's what I would call filler.
That's volume extra stuff. I'd say. I don't know why you did that as a little in between chapter. I remember. I mean, fair enough. Stuff like that, I would count as good filler, I guess. But you can still. I guess what I was trying to say is like, you're right about that. Is like slice of life stuff can be written in as incredibly important character moments, like lore development, and even um just changes to the world itself. I think like the best example I can think of is spoilers for. Have you read Dead Unlock?
I haven't. No.
I will anime only is just all right. Just mute for like 20 seconds. All right, if you're an anime only, find it unlock. But all right, I'm assuming everyone's muted. But yeah, for like, in the manga, in the when like Fuko goes to the second world, like there's this whole other world, and she has to like do everything from scratch. Um, there's like a moment where they go from all this mass. It's basically like JJK, right, on crack.
Yeah.
There's like all these massive world-ending threats all the time, like calamities all the time. But then for this one arc, it's a pretty big arc. They go back to school, for the sake of like recruiting someone, and like all the characters are there, so, like kind of implement themselves into school. Some people are like teachers, some people are students. It's pretty awesome, and it's one of those things where you might think, oh, it's just going to be like a slice of life arc, but it ends up being so important in so many ways for the development of so many characters, like lore, like lore building as well. I mean, learn a lot of stuff. I feel like I guess what I'm trying to say is we could easily have sort of these sort of chapters where um maybe it's just characters talking or just interacting or chilling. It doesn't have to be something like school or anything. I mean, they are high school students, so I guess that could be a thing. But like, maybe we'll actually see them learn. You know, maybe see them do stuff because they're students in class, but maybe not. But stuff like that, or even other arcs. So, for example, the death painting, right? We had like one, like maybe two or three arcs like the death painting before we got into world-changing events where it's like Shibuya and then Culling Game, and then Sukuna. There's no sort of death painting arc. We kind of had that with the whole Hakari thing, where they go in and recruit Hakari.
Yeah.
But even that was more so of a recruitment, and it counted more so of the Culling Game. It's like more like a prelude to the Culling Game, and I was just setting things up for that. I just wish if the story had gone at a normal pace, and I know it would definitely have like the week to week would not be nearly as good. Like the sales wouldn't be as great. People would not be as hyped for JJK. But for the like, how do I say this? For the whole picture, when you look at JJK as a whole, it would have done so great if you had more arcs like the death painting arc.
Yeah.
So maybe we get one like some Kyoto students, like Yuji goes with one, um, or just like maybe more of Megami and stuff, like more development there. And not only would it be more story for us, which is great, we'd get a lot more character moments. I mean, just again, look at the death painting, how incredible that was, or like Yuji and Naname versus Mahito, that whole
Yeah.
jump hit, how great that was. Imagine more arcs like that, but for more characters. We develop them more, build upon the story a lot more, flesh out the characters more, and also enhance the villains more because you'd be seeing them more and it'd be more build up to that. Again, I understand why Gege didn't do that. He sacrificed like the quality of the whole story for the sake of like sales hype, which is what he said himself. Like just simply because what I'm saying, what he said is like the most hyped, crazy, action-packed chapters every week. That's his goal. I do wish like maybe if there was like a world where we could have had, you know, Gege focusing on the story as a whole instead of making it the most hype chapters week to week. I really wish we had that, but
No, for sure.
yeah.
I mean, like, I agree with. So, I think it's very important to balance, kind of what you're saying about like slice of life stuff when it's like mixed into the story well, and especially for developing characters, it does so much. I know that this is sort of a kind of people have split opinions on this, but I love season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Some people think it's some people love it as much as I do. But especially the anime, I love it because it
Yeah, I
has
love it too.
those like and some of my favorite episodes, like one of my favorite episodes of the Jujutsu Kaisen anime is after the exchange event when they're all playing baseball. And that's all that happens. I really enjoy those moments. I think it works great. The whole exchange event I really enjoyed. Nanami and his introduction was incredible. But I showed that season to my friend just a few weeks ago. We like went through JJK for the first time, and just all the episodes I was enjoying with those, less action, more actual character development, and just seeing them live their lives as well, I guess, was like that he hated it. Well, not hated it, but he just really didn't like it. He was just bored. So I see why, like, obviously this works for Gege, A lot of the audience is very built on constant hype, constant action, because my friend also thought season 2 was incredible. Because you don't really get those moments so much anymore, at least not past hidden inventory. You just get Shibuya, which is a disaster, and so much action. And it's incredible, but it's limited in terms of, it's a lot darker than season 1. There's you don't have those nice moments as much. And yeah, it hurts it that we get only a little bit of that right in the beginning of JJK, and then as soon as Shibuya picks up, that's kind of it. We're just now it feels like we're just on this journey to the finale, and only that really.
Yeah, I mean, again, it makes sense, and you can't deny like it works. I think we both said, yeah, the sales are amazing. It's really good for a mainstream audience,
Yep.
because people are just getting like the juiciest part, most hype action stuff. But for the story as a whole, it greatly. It could have been so much more. It could have been so. I can't even describe how much more it could have been. But it is what it is. I don't know. It's just. I feel like for people who really care about the world, the characters, who really love the story, it hurts them the most. But
Yeah.
for the audience as a whole, like the mainstream, like it is probably the best thing because people don't. Because it's just the truth. Most people, I'd say like maybe 95%, maybe higher, don't don't actually care that much. Like they're not actually like going around, which is fair. Like it's every story is completely fair, and it makes sense why the author would focus on this, where they don't really care that much about the story. Just they're reading it, they're watching it, it's just another story to them, and it's great that it's just getting into all the hype stuff and it's cutting out. And I say this in quotes, like all the boring parts, which is probably what Gege would consider as well.
Yeah.
Um, but then obviously as a fan who's like a massive fan and really loves the story, it sucks that we didn't get those parts or like the extra part. It just skipped over everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think a good example of this is I'm assuming you've watched Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, season 4 of Attack on Titan got like very mixed. Like, I've heard very mixed opinions on it. Some people say it's like Attack on Titan was peak until season 4 and then it dropped off, and some people, including myself, think season 4 is the best season. I think there are lots of episodes where it is just characters and development and story mixed in with like a good amount of actual like hype and action as well. Obviously, Attack on Titan, for me at least, I think it kind of stands on a level of its own, but it still, I think, was the most story centered season, or like kind of arc, I guess. Those arcs were just, you had so much development, and like you were getting so many answers and so many new questions, and there was only a like action. It was like you'd have like a 4 or 5 episode break, and then a massive like action thing would happen. So I can see why it kept both audiences engaged, but it doesn't surprise me that there was split opinions about it, because some people really enjoy the constant hype and, you know, all the fights and just exciting stuff, and other people really enjoy seeing the characters, taking the time to properly go through the story, and that's why to some people it's peak, and to some people they just kind of get bored. I think JJK is like the exact opposite of that. Is now the people who enjoy the story are seeing just the action side of it, and that's why mainstream wise, yeah, it kills, but
I
it's
think
disappointing.
for Attack on Titan, like, because people are already saying in the chat, because this is what I was gonna say. I really love season 4. I think it's, as a whole, Attack on Titan, like, it's one of the best written manga, I think, probably ever. But the issue comes with the ending. And this is like the issue, because some people say it doesn't matter, because like there's 2 different opinions of this. I don't know which one you think, but some people say, oh, it doesn't matter if the ending's bad if the rest of the story's great. But some people say the ending is what matters the most. I think what tends to be right is that the ending matters a lot. I think it does matter a lot. Where if the ending isn't great, like if you can't stick the landing, it doesn't matter if everything that came before it was fantastically written. The most important part is the ending. Like that's what you remember last. That's what like ties everything of the story together. And I feel like maybe because the ending, because I'm not a fan of the ending at all, but I don't let it. I try my best to not let an ending of a story affect how I view the rest of the story, especially a final arc. But I know it's very, and it makes sense why. It's very common that if an ending is bad, even if a final arc is great, or even if a story is great, it makes people look at the rest of the story like, damn, that shit was ass. Like, even though I think, especially season 4, like the whole final saga, where like, you know, they go international, you know, we see the rest of the world, I thought it was peak fiction. I feel like the fact that the ending was bad, it makes people just look back on it all like, oh, it was just garbage from the beginning, even though it's not true. I think it was like masterfully written. Beside, I think we disagree on that though. I think we disagree on the, because I think I remember you saying you like the ending, which is fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with liking or disliking an ending. I just think it was bad. Which I don't know how you feel about that.
So obviously like everyone can think what they want. That's fine. That's a given. But yeah, no, I'm of the opinion that the ending was peak. Like all of Attack on Titan for me was so peak, and obviously there's a little bit of I don't know. I feel like I'm very good at wanting to enjoy things and then enjoying them, but of all the, like, when I look back with, you know, without the recency bias now, and I actually think about the ending, I still think it's incredible. But
It's the opposite.
like I understand what you mean by an ending, you know, making a big difference and changing your view, because same thing, like I guess this was kind of the opposite. Code Geass, so boring. I couldn't stand that anime.
Yeah,
when I watched it. The ending bumped it up an entire tier. And now I look back at the whole thing and I'm like, was that better than I thought it was? Do I need to like do this again now? You know, and it's just made me has just made me look different on it. Although now I know that it's like just the last episode was just the ending was just like really good. But I was so bored throughout all of Code Geass. The struggle, I do hate Code Geass. Yeah, I mean I don't hate it. Like it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, like what PB's saying in the chat, like Game of Thrones season 8 was peak. Like everything before it, like season 7 was good. Season 6 and everything before that, like god tier writing. But simply because the last, even season 8, I would say the first 2 episodes were good. I'm saying that like shakily, but then it's like every episode after that. Simply because those final stretch of episodes were bad. Game of Thrones, which like everyone remembers, used to be talked about as the best written show in history.
Mm-hmm.
No one even includes it in those conversations. No one talks about it as if it's, everyone just remembers Game of Thrones. Like that was garbage. That had the worst ending. Even though you literally have, I don't know how many episodes. Like if someone could tell me how many episodes Game of Thrones is before season 8, it must be like 100 or something. I don't know the exact number, like 80, 100 of just peak like the best writing possible. I think maybe more than that. But then a couple episodes, like the final couple episodes, like bad. Everyone remembers it in a horrible way. Or like I won't spoil the endings for these 2 shows, so don't worry because I know people are watching the anime. I won't spoil the endings. But Demon Slayer, where I thought like I'm not gonna spoil anything, don't worry. But like the final arc, I thought was, if you've read it, you know, I thought it was phenomenal. But then I feel like the final fight was kind of lame and the ending was garbage. At least in my opinion, I'm not a fan of those type endings, and it does actually. I try my best to not let it affect how I view the rest of the story, but I can understand like why people. It was same with like Solo Leveling. I think the ending was garbage. But I mean the ending was especially bad. I can't even lie. But
Whereas just a professional ending hater, man.
that ending in particular, like genuinely ruins the rest of the story. I can't even lie. Like there's endings, I'd say like Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, it doesn't affect even the final arc. But Demon Slayer's not Demon Slayer, sorry. Solo Leveling's ending like ruins the rest of the story. Like it is that.
I haven't read Solo Leveling, so I can't comment on it.
Have you seen the anime?
I've seen the anime, yeah. I thought it was
It's so
alright.
good.
I thought it was alright.
I mean, at least in terms of like, it's one of those that you turn your brain off, just peak. It's just like action.
Like I had a lot of fun with it, yeah. Demon Slayer, I have a lot of issues with. I like it. I like Demon Slayer. Don't get me wrong, but I have my problems with Demon Slayer.
Don't get me wrong. Listen, I don't want to say I hate every ending. I'm specifically was just saying all the endings I hate.
No, that's fine. I get it.
Like endings I love, like okay, Haikyuu. That is an example of how to write an ending and a final arc. Like I would say, one of the best endings and final arcs. For like, I wouldn't just forget manga. I would just say in storytelling. Period.
Damn.
Haikyuu. It is really, really good how he ended that story.
Let's get around to Haikyuu. I mean,
It's
like,
good.
don't worry about saying you don't like endings, because I've been cooked so many times on stream for giving my opinions on certain anime. Bro, Death Note, Code Geass, nah.
Whoa, Death Note.
Yeah, Death Note is like, of all I've watched. Realistically, I'm very new to this, so I've watched like 12 anime in my time. Death Note is dead last, bro. Dead last. It is so overrated. What? It is.
What?
Like the first like 13 episodes were. I know everyone's like, you know, I won't spoil, but a thing happens halfway through that show which a lot of people really don't like. I really didn't like it either. I thought it completely killed it. But even before that point, it was still only just like it was just good. It was just good before that point.
It was peak fiction.
No. It's just, it did not have me.
Okay, I can understand if you say everything after like the second, you know, we know what you're talking, like the second point of the story when you know that person dies. Like, okay, Death Note's okay though. I mean that the manga and anime ended like a decade ago at least, like, right? We could get spoiled, but listen, regardless, I see what you mean if you're saying everything after that, like the whole stuff with Nier. But everything with L, like, that was peak. What do you mean?
It was really good, but it's like it's not at the level where people like it's. I didn't find that peak. I didn't find that peak at all.
Oh man, you know what? I understand. I mean, I don't understand, but I can accept. Your opinion. Man.
I feel like we've gone a little bit off topic here. But it's meant to be 259 predictions, and I don't think I've predicted anything.
Ties back. You know, it ties back to JJK. Or we're saying
We are in
Yeah, a
the
little.
approaching the ending, I think.
Yeah, with oh god. I mean, actually, I wanted to ask, what are you gonna do? Because I've always asked this to other YouTubers. But what are you planning on doing on the channel once JJK ends?
That is a really good question. I've been asked this by a lot of my mates recently. So I'm currently I'm basically I have a lot of fun with this. I wanted to do a channel like this even before I started watching anime. Um, but then I kind of never got around to doing it. I watched Attack on Titan and then Jujutsu Kaisen and kind of got very into those. One day I randomly decided to make a Jujutsu Kaisen video, and here we are. I never stopped talking about it. But I'm basically trying to educate myself on anime and manga, you know, before JJK ends. So I'm like, where am I at? I think I'm halfway through Eni's lobby of One Piece at the moment, because
Oh,
I'm like trying to get through what I've been told is peak.
yes.
I say trying as if I'm not really enjoying it. I wouldn't be 200 plus episodes deep into One Piece unless I
Are you
didn't
watching
really
it
like
all?
it. I'm watching it. Well, yeah,
Oh my god,
I
that is a
watching
I
is the
respect
way.
that. That is because that's 1,000 episodes. I'm like just I recommend people read the manga. You could do it in like pretty short period of time.
I
The
kind of
anime is like, oh
I
my god.
kind of chop and change a lot though. Like I'll read like 50 chapters and then watch a thing that like a part of an arc that I think is going to be really good.
That makes sense.
So I can get through it decently quickly. But yeah, like I'm basically just thinking of I'm just watching stuff because obviously Jujutsu Kaisen and Attack on Titan, I mean Attack on Titan more so, and things like Full Metal, they were just peak for me. Like I kind of was frustrated I hadn't found all this stuff sooner than last year. So I'm wanting to kind of enjoy it a little bit more, educate myself on anime and manga a little bit more, and then just whatever I'm interested in, I'll like if I feel like I want to make a video on something, I'll just start making videos. But so far, I'm so deep into the JJK hyperfixation that I keep meaning to do a video on something else, or even just like Kagurabachi is a great example. I'm really enjoying that. I really want to make a video on it, but every time I come around to writing a video, I'm just like JJK needs to be JJK because it's all I can think about. So I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit tough because that's what I have a video on. It's gonna be the first one, like Sojo, right? Absolutely go. I think that's how you say it. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sojo. I think that's how you say his name. But
Hmm.
like on him coming out soon. Um, I don't. To be honest, at least for my channel, I don't even know. I'm thinking One Piece maybe, like Kagurabachi maybe. I mean, the One Piece has been like an idea for like 2 years. I don't know that if I would, because the fan base. I mean, if you thought JJK fans are toxic, man,
Oh no,
One Piece fans.
trust me, I've seen
Oh
them.
my god, yeah, it
Oh, I
is.
know.
You could say like X character beats Y character, and JJK like they get hostile. JJK there's some death threats. One Piece like worse, bro. I don't even know how, but somehow worse.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
Um,
I get that. Like, it's so frustrating because if I find something like I genuinely think Attack on Titan is maybe, I mean, Doctor Who is my favorite, but Attack on Titan is like up there. Nothing else has come close to that level. If I'm really passionate about something, the last thing I want to do is go and piss everyone off about it. Like, I feel like One Piece fans don't know that they're making wanting to get into One Piece really difficult when all you see is people fighting over it. Like you're not promoting the thing you love the most very well at all.
it's worse within the fan base. I think like within the fan base, it is 1,000 times worse than even outside. Like, God, if you talk about scaling, it's over, man. It's over. Like, it doesn't matter how innocent your take is, how reasonable it is, what evidence you provide. Like, man, people are gonna get so mad. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's fun parts to it too. I mean, it's the issue, and the fan base is so big and has been going on for so long. I mean, it's been well over 2 decades. I think 25 years, no longer than that. But it is how it is. Um, I don't know. We'll see. I will see what the future holds. I mean, hopefully JJK. I don't think it's ending this year. I think it's getting close. But how many chapters are even left this year? I would say 20, maybe less. I don't think JJK is wrapping up in 20 chapters, right?
No, no chance. I mean, if it does, then they better be peak chapters, bro, because I don't have faith in that ending if it's only 20 chapters long.
Oh man, I mean, if it is only 20 chapters, we wouldn't see a lot of things. Like definitely Nobara and Toto wouldn't come back.
I don't think
No
anyone's coming
Heinar
back.
flashback. Like merger would probably be pretty short if we even see the merger. Yeah. Hopefully not.
Merger's an interesting one. I feel like we're not. I feel like the merger is going to have a big role, but not necessarily just as this, big final boss kind of thing, like big monster. It's not going to be the rumbling, basically. I don't think.
Are you subscribed to the theory that Yuji's gonna become the merger?
Nah. I'm going down the route of well, I don't know how exactly this would work. I feel like Megumi's going to find a way to use the merger to basically solve this problem of cursed energy in general.
Oh, wait a minute.
I was talking with Eternal the other week, and we came to the conclusion the story cannot properly end with cursed energy still being a thing, because it will literally cause World War III. Like, it's public knowledge, the US wants it. Like, you can't end the story with just, and then everybody dies because the US, starts a war over cursed energy. It needs to go.
Yeah,
it needs to go.
Because this theory, it's been around since years, right? And especially after the whole Yuki, it was explained that like Tengen has a merger. I mean, Kinjaku has the merger. Tengen's connected to every human, and Yuki's soul is like very likely inside. Cause, like ever since the Yuki fight, that's like the main thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, Yuki's gonna remove all the cursed energy. So she's connected to every human. She's inside of Tengen." I pray to God we don't get that ending.
Really?
Yeah, it's simply because it's so boring. Like then what? The world just becomes a regular, boring ass world.
See, I understand that take on it. Is I
It's
like I like the
so
idea of our
boring.
characters staying as strong as they get at the end of the story.
I mean, and no, I'm not saying it's not. It wouldn't make sense. Like narratively, then like the ghettos sort of the whole point of Ghetto wanted was like there would be no more curses. Young sorcerers wouldn't die. Like the cycle would be over. The cycle of curses and sorcerers would finally be over. People would get to like rest. No longer would like young children, basically child soldiers. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Be sent out on missions like in the first and second year to like fight special grades and just die. Like, basically fodder, right? That's how a mountain of Jujutsu sorcerers die. It solved all those issues, and everything comes like the issue comes with cursed energy. At least that's how the story portrays it. But I still think it's just a boring ending. I think it's just boring. Like it's just like the easiest way out possible. The world itself becomes really boring. It just sort of kills the world. And God, I don't know. I feel like the issues stem. It does stem from obviously cursed techniques and cursed energy and curses. It does, but I personally think maybe the issue is more so about like how the Jujutsu society is set up. Like I think this is one aspect of it where Gojo thinks the issue is more so the people that are like in power, the higher ups, all like the big clans, all those people. And we obviously saw the Zenin clan, how corrupt it was,
Mm.
how the higher ups are so corrupt. Where it's like Gojo thinks, oh, if you just bring in a new generation, that can genuinely change the Jujutsu world forever, and like bring about like a new era and fix all these problems. It's sort of like takes away the decade or like how long Gojo's been working on this new solve to the issue, and like genuinely like a good sort of solution. Just for the most boring cop out answer, where like, okay, just take away cursed energy, like it solves everything, and the world just becomes bland as possible. Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I hope that doesn't happen.
that's fair. So I want to propose an alternative. Is what if we reverse that so that we use the merger to like almost kind of do I don't know, like a wee
Bad ending.
soul swap thing where like it goes My Hero instead. Like we teach everyone how to control their cursed energy Because that was one of Yuki's solutions. And then you've got a world of only Jujutsu sorcerers.
That's Kinjaku's solution, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just optimized cursed
Yeah.
energy.
I remember. Yeah, I think I remember this was like people were debating about this on Twitter. This was like months ago. I was talking to someone about this on like a thread. Where it's like that's the bad ending, but I would prefer that ending.
Okay.
Where it's like the bad path. I would much prefer that. Um, which is fucked to say. Like I know I get it. All right, I'm basically saying I want the world to suffer more. But I think for an interesting world, for an interesting story, for way more like just like everything becomes far more fascinating if you go that route.
Yeah.
Um, if we're saying this was in the real world, okay, take away the cursed energy and cursed techniques, forget it, right? But this is JJK, man. I'm not trying to read a story that's based off of the real world. I'm trying to read JJK Part 2. Something like that.
I'm trying to watch Kinjaku cook, man. I need this guy to give us just something. So he doesn't even have to be alive. I just need some part of his plan that's gonna make this merger thing more interesting. Because the only ending I think I don't want is just we defeat Sukuna and then the merger turns into a big monster because I don't know, Megami turned evil or some shit like that, and then we all have to fight this big cursed energy like rumbling creature, which I just think would. I mean, it would make for an awesome fight. Don't really care all that much though.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Megami turning evil is probably the worst possible writing choice. Gege. It's bad for so many reasons, and it makes so little sense. I think it'd be probably like the one way he could just kill a story, like making Megami. At that point, I would give up on Gege. I pray to God he doesn't. I just don't think he's like an author that's that bad. Like, he would do something like that. So pray to God Megami doesn't become evil. But as for the whole merger thing, I guess that's the beauty of it, where Gege leaves it so open. And even Kinjaku saying, I don't know what it'll look like. Like, that's kind of the beauty of it. We don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And even he's fascinated, like interested. Oh, what will this merger end up being? It does leave for a lot of cool possibilities on what it could, like maybe the merger could be a humanoid fit, because a lot of people think it's going to be a giant kaiju.
Yeah.
But like, what if the merger, everyone's seen, I think you've seen, Age of Ultron, Avengers?
Mm-hmm.
You know how like Vision was born and no one knew it was coming?
Yeah.
People thought maybe it could be evil, could be good, and it's sort of like its own personality. Granted, his personality did come from Jarvis, but it was like a unique being was born. Like
Yeah.
it was just its own self. Maybe something like that where the merger has a personality. Maybe it is going to be like some Godzilla threat, or maybe Yuji's going to be the vessel for like Gege could do whatever he wants with this merger, which is cool. And mysterious, but a bit. I hope he just does something good with it and not something bad.
It's definitely got a lot of potential, that's for sure. I think my ideal, if we are just going to do like the final boss thing, it would be. I don't know how this would happen because Megami technically has control, but like Sukuna being part of the merger, because I can't remember exactly how it works, but it's either so the merger shouldn't affect sorcerers, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah,
they can just reject it.
Right. So I'm actually that I'm guessing it absorbs cursed energy, so Maki should be safe as well. But Sukuna merging with Tengen and like that kind of becoming a thing. So you have like the merger, but also Sukuna. Because I don't know, I think there is a lot of potential for the merger to be really cool. But I still think of Sukuna as like the kind of ultimate big bad. And it seems strange to move straight on from beating Sukuna to beating something much stronger than Sukuna, and then suddenly Sukuna looks kind of not all that anymore. I mean, it just depends
Jinx.
how. Sorry, go on.
Nah, I think we both said I mean at the same time.
The British
You could just
thing.
say yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
I think it just depends on Kinjaku, how well he's going to be. Like,
Oh, do you think he's dead?
I don't know. Like, I don't. It confuses me, right? Because I thought Kinjaku's whole thing was that, just like Sukuna, he's bored. But Kinjaku is so much more twisted in every way than Sukuna. I feel like Sukuna's kind of idea is like, I'm just really strong. It's not my fault you guys aren't as strong as me. I'm just gonna keep going until I die. Kinjaku seems to have like this really twisted like curiosity. So it seems strange for him to just, lie down and take it when he's not gonna get to see the final product of what he's spent the last 1,000 years striving to create. Like, it just
I
doesn't
think he
work.
just kind of accepted it, which is weird.
Yeah, it's like if he doesn't come back, I think I'd be okay with that. As long as we still see something from him. Like, I want his plan to be more than just create this merger thing. Sukuna, you handle it now. It's your problem now. I don't even need to see it. I feel like that would make his conclusion really bad. Kinjaku
Yeah,
definitely dead.
I
Yeah.
agree that Kenjaku's definitely dead, but I agree with you as well. Like, I think it's just bad.
Yeah.
So many like open threads, loose threads, plot points, never touched upon, just left to rot with Kinjaku. Like, we'll never know about Kinjaku and Tengen, Kinjaku and Choso, Kinjaku and Yuji is probably the biggest one. I mean, Tengen one is the most frustrating. I'll be honest. Like, that was foreshadowed dozens of times. Like, oh, my friend, he says that Tengen. It talks like they have a history where he's like Tengen, Kinjaku saying, "I hate people who just sit around and never do stuff. Like, never try to evolve." Then he's like, "I'm talking to you, Tengen." It's just there's so clearly a history there, like a very deep connection between the two. We'll never know. Hopefully, we find if there's a Heinar flashback. But with Yuji, like, it would have been great to just finally have those plot threads because like it's his mother. Have those. I hope he's alive, but I feel what I hope and what I think are two different things. Like, I hope he's alive, but I think he's just dead. I mean, I've seen theories that he's gonna. I think Blaziken says this. He's gonna come back in the merger. So when the merger's summoned, you'll see Kinjaku still there. I guess My Hero Academia spoilers, so mute for like 10 seconds, 20, 15 seconds if you don't want to hit her. Alright, I've assumed people muted, but it's like when All for One was defeated for like the 20th time, man. He's like fully defeated, finally defeated, but like he has a backup. He's got extra body, he's got extra soul. And then like Bakugo defeats like his final body, like copied soul. And then no, but he's like somehow still alive in Shigaraki. Like, he's still there and he comes back yet again. I guess it could be something like that. Where Kinjaku's soul is or something's like in the merger and we get to see him again there, which would be cool. I hope that's true, but I doubt it.
Yeah. I mean, I think if there's anything Kinjaku like doesn't give a crap about is he doesn't want to be the strongest, so I don't think he'll have any interest in putting himself in the merger to be strong. But I do see him pulling off some kind of like some backup plan just so that he can live to see it. I feel like with all his knowledge of cursed objects and the soul and teaching people, even the nature of his technique is like I guess his brain is kind of like a cursed object in itself. Everything about Kinjaku is like he should have some kind of backup plan. It would be really stupid of him not to. So yeah, I see him like if he comes back, I think I'd prefer that. I see it going either way, but as long as his like story wraps up well with the merger, I think it would be alright. Well, D-Struggle says, if Taka comes back... Wait, sorry. Yeah, if Takaba comes back, it would lower the stakes of the fight. Yeah, see, Takaba... I love this thing with Takaba, because Kinjaku's ending happening then, as in, like, if that's actually the end of Kinjaku, I don't like it at all, because I still don't understand why he wouldn't want to be around to see what he's created, But the actual fight, like how Kinjaku loses, I love so much. It's like one of my favorite fights in the series. But I genuinely believe Kinjaku is the only sorcerer around actually capable of taking down Takaba. Except maybe Higuruma, because would probably just like screw over Comedian, but like it's just perfect. And that's why I think Takaba is not coming back, because he would complicate things way too much. Way too much.
If you brought Takaba right now, he would fuck Sukuna.
He would. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Kinjaku was the bigger threat, right? Like Kusakabe said, we have after like Gojo does his fight, we potentially have two big threats. We have Kinjaku and Sukuna. And Kinjaku was just, like, if you want to leave one of them alive, they chose Sukuna. Like, Sukuna is just not as bad as Kinjaku. Why do you think they sent Takaba and Yuta to deal with Kinjaku? Because they're easily the two strongest out of, like, everyone there. Takaba, if they sent him to Sukuna, what's he gonna do? Like, World Cutting Slash is gonna get turned into a, like, rubber noodle or some shit.
I mean, I feel like that was what Kusakawa was saying. How he even thinks, even if we beat the Kinjaku's, the worst case scenario is if Kinjaku lives and Sukuna dies.
Yeah.
Because then Kinjaku would like have them merge and run rampant. So they didn't know that Sukuna had done the ritual over the time skip and would have gained authority over the. It's even what Kinjaku, it's how like Kusakawa thinks like, oh shit. Like even it would have been not the best scenario, but it would have been really good. Even if we lose to Sukuna, as long as Kinjaku dies, because like at least the world
What's up, Jed?
is safe. Because yeah, the merger is like not only will it kill every person in Japan, like, it is a world, as it was said, like a world-ending threat. So fuck it, Sukuna's alive. At least like the world is alive, but they kind of got like the worst of both worlds. Where,
Oh yeah, that's great.
Like not only is a stronger character alive, but the worst possible ending is it's still possible. Actually, the possibility now. It is like it's very unlucky. I guess it's just one of those things where they just didn't think, which is fair. They just didn't think about it. Like, oh, maybe he could have transferred possession of Tengen, which is still like baffling how he did that, but I guess he did, of the ritual, whatever that is. And he like transferred possession to Sukuna.
Yeah. Kimono said Takaba fled from 15 Finger Megana, if you remember. I do not remember Takaba running away from Sukuna.
Yeah, he didn't run from him. He tanked a lightning bolt, and he helped Hana as well.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, because Takaba's got this thing about, like, no killing, Takaba's not gonna kill Sukuna. But if you just send Takaba out there, he's not dying.
He would know. He would do a lot of damage as well. Like he would actively. Yeah. The thing is because Takaba got so much stronger after, because he got like probably one of the biggest power-ups we've seen in the series. Because I think Takaba, before like when he's fighting Kinjaku, the whole thing where because he was already like changing reality and warping it.
Yeah.
But the level he was doing it at. After I don't even know what to call this like ability. Maybe it's like awaken is like the best way to. Even it's not like the traditional awakening, or any sort of awakening comparable to other characters. But like I think that's the best way to explain it, where his curse technique evolved to such an insane level, after he got motivated to make Kinjaku laugh.
Yeah. I think he'd be all right. Like against pretty much. I mean, if you think about. Kinjaku is like, in my opinion, a top 5 in the verse, right? This guy spent half a chapter trying to use curse techniques against Takaba and gave up so quickly. Sukuna is not only boring as hell, but also just, what's he doing if he can't use Jujutsu, So, Takaba, after he'd like reached that level fighting Kinjaku, like you said, Sukuna's just, I feel like he just will hate Takaba for what he is, effectively making Jujutsu completely invalid in a contest of power is. I think he'd hate it. And Takaba's potentially one of he would be like the best supporting character because he could just be there like buffing everybody else and nerfing Sukuna. It doesn't have to actually hurt Sukuna himself. If he doesn't want to hurt people, doesn't want to kill people, that's fine.
No, I mean he doesn't want to kill him, but he would definitely do a lot of damage. I think he would just outright beat him. He'd wear him out eventually.
Yeah.
I mean,
why he's not coming back?
With who?
It's just why Takaba's not coming back. Like some people think he's coming back, he just can't.
He's just fair. He would like, because the thing is, Kinjaku is the best possible character to fight him, because like he is for some reason got a disgusting level of knowledge on comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So he was able to counteract with his own jokes. I mean, even then he was getting cooked. And he sort of needs to make that fun. I don't think Sukuna's gonna do like a comedy versus comedy. I don't think Sukuna
no chance.
Do that. Like Sukuna just loses. I don't know what to say. Like unless the only possibility the only possibility is that the world-ending slash, because it's like cutting the world and reality itself, bypasses Takaba's increased like defense that he has because of his tech like reality warping. It's the only chance he has. But yeah, I think that's literally the only chance he has. But other than that, like he just sort of gets like utterly dogged by the comedian, where like all these scenarios are happening, warping reality. Like Sukuna just keeps taking more and more damage, and it's not going to be like with Kinjaku, where like I just said before, you just how funny is Sukuna's not doing that.
Yeah, no. I think Kinjaku was the only one like capable of that, just because of his mindset, and he's just so twisted and all of that. It just works really well. Yeah, that's why Takaba stay Maria's, I think. Now, what's interesting is if the merger does become like this, I don't know, I can't think of a better thing to say than final boss. Is that gonna be like a good enough reason to bring back Gojo? Like, will it be that strong that? Because like, I don't know what the.
But I think the merger solos Sukuna.
Yeah, I think the merger should, in theory, just be way beyond anything we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think and because of like the Tengen and the merger, it ties a lot to the Six Eyes. As much as I love Gojo and I want him to return, it is the only scenario where I'm actually happy about Gojo returning, is to fight, or even just to like, I love my Yuta Six Eyes theories, but just fight with people, finally. I don't know, like, against this problem that is pretty much, like, it's his problem. This whole thing started with Gojo not ensuring the merger. I love Gojo, I want him back, but that is like the only scenario I see it actually being impactful at all, rather than just Gege sitting there going, oh yeah, I'm going to bring Gojo back this week and make shit tons of money.
I mean, it would be the most. I think it would just break the internet if he brings Gojo back. I think it's the most hype possible thing he could do left in JJK. Like, there's nothing more hype than that. Like, nothing. Than bringing Gojo back. But I would say I remember I told us in the video, like, when Gojo died, I was not okay with him coming back for so many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like now that it's been over 20 chapters, a lot of those issues have been addressed. So a lot of the issues I had was let the students have that chance to fight Sukuna, let Yuji have his moment, let Yuta, Mark, like let everyone have their shine. Because the issue out of Gojo coming back initially is that then no one would get that chance and shine against Sukuna. But we've already had that. And I feel like the Sukuna fight's nearly done anyway. So if the Sukuna fight is finished, then I wouldn't have any issues with Gojo coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have like some, but a lot of the issues would have been addressed. The major issues that I think would have made it bad, which is it's already taken care of, to be honest. Like him, and if he comes back like nerfed as well, that would greatly help as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just a glazer, such a glazer, but
yeah,
I'd rather
Gojo,
of Yuta. I'd rather him come back with. I want like Yuta Six Eyes Limitless, and I want Sukuna, not Sukuna. I want Yuji like Sukuna level, like peak Heion era Sukuna level, and Megami with his like fully unlocked, Divine Dog Maharaga Rabbit Escape, the merger beast thing. I just want the three of them to completely fuck shit up against the merger. But bringing Gojo back would be pretty cool as well. And I think, honestly, if we get through at this point, if we get through the entirety of Jujutsu Kaisen and Gojo does not come back in any way, like nerf or no nerf, Gege is a much better man than me. Because if I'm sitting there knowing I have the power in my hands to break the internet and just make so much money, there's no way I don't bring Gojo back. So Gege's got some serious passion if he doesn't bring Gojo back.
If Gojo comes back, dude, that volume would probably be the most selling volume ever.
Yeah, like it would. Gojo dying was huge. I saw that before I even started Jujutsu Kaisen. That's why I found it.
Wait, you started JJK? Wait a minute.
Do you not know when I
What?
started JJK? It's quite
I think you
funny.
told me this before, but I
Hmm.
think I forgot. Wait a minute,
So
what the
I
hell?
actually watched it first. I got halfway through season 2, and I kept reading because it was going weekly, and I needed to know what happened.
What?
And
Wait
I
a minute.
picked up at the beginning of, well, no, I picked up, yeah, no, I picked up at the beginning of Takaba versus Kinjaku.
That is crazy. Oh my god.
So it's, yeah, no, I like, it was that point, and I was still seeing TikToks about Gojo being dead, and this is like many chapters on from that now.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, if Gojo comes back, like JJK fans will be cooked, but the hype would be
I'm here for it.
unreal.
Like,
I'm here for it too. I think it'd be awesome. I mean, if it happened after he had died, again, I would have had so many issues with it, but now a lot of those issues have been addressed, I think.
I also,
Um,
I'm going down this weird, like, this really strange route of I've been sick and tired of the Gojo vs Sukuna discussions that have gone, because obviously Gojo vs Sukuna was such a long time ago. I kind of get sick of hearing it. I didn't want to make videos on it anymore because I made too many when I first started, and I was just like, I can't be bothered for this. And now I've kind of re-entered an interest in that because my mindset was always, yeah, Sukuna was like ultimately just stronger in the end. Even without Maharaga, Sukuna probably wins.
yeah.
But it was all very based off like, what are we actually like? It was all based off this hypothetical. It was just statements, really. It was like, can Sukuna actually do it? Like, we need to see what he has first before we know for sure that he can do it. And I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I was very Sukuna sided, and then I was like 70-30, and now I feel like I'm more 60-40. I just need to make a video on it again now. And I'm gonna get cooked because the amount of comments I'll get like, this happened a year ago, why are you still thinking about this? But I'm now seeing more like, I don't know. Gojo was, I feel like I had him underrated for a while in my head after that fight, and I started appreciating him again.
I mean, I sort of disagree. I think like the more we've seen of Sukuna, the more it's made sense of what he said with what was being said, how he could beat Gojo, especially the transformation. I feel like that like ace that he had in his sleeve, up his sleeve, was just insane. Because think about it. Let's say they go domain clashes, right? And he brings out the transformation after the third or fourth clash. He just wins. He just outright wins because then Gojo wouldn't be able to, because it heals him. Granted, it wouldn't heal his brain, but the point was Sukuna's like constantly suffered a lot of damage over time, and that was getting to. Clearly, he was getting to. That's what everyone was saying.
Yeah.
And eventually, just like he just took too much damage by the fifth clash. Just too much. He couldn't. All he needed was 20 more seconds, and then he would have, because then the 3 minutes would have passed, because it was 2 minutes 40 seconds. He would have just like survived. Like both the domains would have broken, and he would have never been hit by infinite void
Mm-hmm.
or unlimited void, and he would have thus been able to open up his final domain. Had he? It doesn't even need like the flames, like the extra power he gets from the transformation. He doesn't even need any of that, which would greatly make him stronger. World-ending slash, and that's also another issue. Like now he has the world-ending slash, whereas before he didn't. But it's just simply that transformation where he pulls it out after the third or fourth clash and heals all of the damage he had, not healing his brain, but just generally the damage. He would have just won. It would have bought him definitely those 20 extra seconds he needed. Probably, honestly, a lot more because then he would have just generally been stronger too. And he just wins. He just simply opens his. The fight would have ended with him in his true form, telling Gojo, "You were painfully ordinary," and it just would have beaten him there, in his true form.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I stand by that. That's the way that fight was going and the way it did play out. 100%, like it goes to Sukuna. But what I'm saying is, and I'm gonna make a video on this. My video today was kind of, it touched on this a bit, but I want to go into it deeper. The way the battle was fought was like Sukuna was gonna win.
He was trying,
But
yeah.
I think Gojo's actual strength, like the strength of his technique, his like intelligence, and the six eyes, make something possible that isn't possible for other sorcerers. Where I can very easily sit down and write a video, obviously like with the gift of hindsight as well a little bit, but I can easily think up scenarios where Gojo fights that fight completely differently and he can win it. Because the issue with this right here is that the way the fight went, Sukuna wins because of, like you said, you go through the domain clashes and then eventually
domain,
you just
I
lose,
think, yeah.
right? But the thing is that there are ways for, because the problem is how Gojo fights it, because Gojo is not the kind of person to play by any of the strategies that I've come up with for beating Sukuna. He would never do it.
Like, yeah, no, it's true. Like, I definitely agree that if he
But
just like
he could be
teleports out of the
done.
domain,
Yeah.
yeah, like he could yeah, if he played a die, I think he could have, it would have helped a lot. I guess it just comes of like the like ego, pride, honored one. If he runs away, then he's no longer like he's already
100%. Yeah.
lose in the metaphysical aspect, which I guess is like his own flaw as a character.
Yeah, our character,
yeah.
So. But like, if you take his strength, like just objectively what Gojo is capable of, compared to what other characters are capable of, like playing dirty like that. If I completely rewrite the fight, he can beat
Gojo,
Sukuna.
Like, be an absolute wanker. Like he could troll Sukuna so bad.
Because without the domain, if Sukuna doesn't have Malevolent Shrine, Gojo is outright stronger. It's like mid-def. He's got domain amp.
Wait, are we saying pre or post World Ending Slash?
Pre World Ending Slash.
Yeah, and no 10 shadows.
He can have 10 shadows. That's fine.
Oh,
I still think like it would just be hand to hand and he gets cooked. Like,
I think the 10 shadows, like, because the Maharaga adapting though.
I guess, but I feel like without, like,
bro, teach Gojo an open domain and he's the strongest. Like, it's a genuine.
It's true, but yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like, Maharaga is still a problem the way that Sukuna used it, because obviously Gojo can't destroy Maharaga before adapting. If there's no Maharaga to destroy. But I don't know. I feel like he can just cook Sukuna if there are no domain clashes. There's no strain on his brain.
And there's a strain on Sukuna's brain too.
There is, yeah. There is.
We still have had that.
There was much less of a there was much less of a strain than
we already had that scenario, right? With what's it called? Sukuna versus Gojo.
Yeah.
Like where they didn't have their domains and it was just like hand to hand. And Gojo just lost. It was greatly helped with Maharaga though. Like that's why I think him having the 10 shadows is the key here. Because like it's a technique that's so well suited to getting past the infinity, because the Maharaga can adapt to anything.
That's fair. But like it is okay, maybe I'm creeping, but like in my head, the whole domain dodging thing, like escaping it, if he had done that since the first clash, because people will say to me when I make this video, because they've said it before when I brought up this point of like, Sukuna will just kill Gojo before he learns how to heal his curse technique. Like, read the chapter. He didn't. Gojo did heal his curse technique.
No, he wasn't able to. Like, I mean, this is the issue. Because like the more we learn about everything Sukuna has hidden, because even Gojo says he was holding back. Like, for example, like the flames. We don't know how powerful they are, or what else he has after them.
Yeah.
I feel like after we get to see the full extent, if we get to see the flames in the next chapter, or in a couple hours, and it like turns out the flames are way more lethal than Clemenus. Like Clemenus Mantle would cut people up, but it wasn't as, for some reason, as deadly as the flames. If the flames end up being stupidly powerful and didn't use them against Gojo, and that could be a fair argument for school. Like maybe Sukuna had more. Like what if he has like lightning, or like air? He's like the Avatar or something. He's like water, earth. Like he's got all the elements and some shit. And he's holding that back. Then I guess that, but it is true. Like it does depend on what. It's like if the flames aren't as strong, even if they're only as strong as the Clevenus Mantle, then I think that helps Gojo's case a lot. I think that helps it a lot. If he has nothing more than the flames,
kill him in that time necessarily.
Yeah,
just with the one shot.
If he's only got the flames, and the flames are only as strong as Clevenus Mantle, then there's just no scenario where he kills Gojo.
I agree.
I would agree with you. But if it ends up being like the flames are stronger than Clevenus Mantle, and or there's more like techniques, then I would be on the side like Sukuna could have killed Gojo had he gone all out. But we don't know. Like that's something we're actually gonna find out in a couple hours. Like
Yeah, hopefully.
which is right or wrong. Yeah, I mean unless like Hakari versus
Hakari comes in clutch.
a full chapter.
I
dedicated to
don't think
that.
I can be bothered to read through Twitter tonight if Hakari shows up. I'm not. Yeah, just
Yeah.
sorry. Look, if you're a respectful, lovely Hakari fan, then that's fine. But like, you're allowed to enjoy a character without hating on every other character in the series. I see it the most from Hakari fans. It's like they don't love Hakari; they just hate everybody else more, and they're left with Hakari
Oh man.
afterwards. Like, uh,
But it'd be so bad if Hakari wins because I made the tweet. I think it was yesterday.
your
Like
Hakari Uraume tweets
absolutely,
are so funny, man. They crack me up. I love
yeah, I
it.
was like absolutely cooking him in one of my recent tweets, and all I'm gonna say is like if Hakari this like next chapter soon, like I'm finished. I am finished, man.
Yeah.
So hopefully not.
Yeah, we should see how strong those flames are soon. And I'm guessing, you know, I doubt Yuji, Maki, Ino, Chozo, and Miwa all instantly die on the spot and JJK ends. So something will happen that will let at least Yuji live, most likely. Um, and but yeah, so I don't know. I did get in my head about Gojo is always going to lose because Gojo is Gojo. It's the biggest problem. But in terms of raw actual strength, you look at the character without the personality side of the character, and you just look at objective strength. Gojo is like, my stream
Base to
died. I don't
base,
know.
he's stronger. Yeah,
Like it's
base to base,
just
he's
like he
stronger.
can win that if he healed the curse technique, and instead of throwing a red, he runs out the domain. Can very easily, like, if he then just does not expand another domain, right? He is never going to get his, like, brain burn out. And he can keep using blue. So even if Sukuna can move his domain, which I don't think you can move open domains, but even if he can,
I think
like,
you can.
if you can,
It's just the
Gojo's still faster. Like, you just keep
no,
not,
because an open
you know.
domain still has a barrier. You just can't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, no. How do I say this? Like, it has a barrier, but there's no outer shell. Sorry, that's what I
But
should
it's got,
say.
like, this fixed center, though, right?
But
So
every
it's-
domain, I think, has something like that. Where I mean, technically, all you're doing is moving the barrier, if that makes sense. So Sukuna would, just like every other sorcerer, be moving the barrier, but he just doesn't have an outer shell, though. So you'd
Yeah.
see, like, the whole barrier move. Unless he's just not, I mean, tried it before or capable, but I think if he sees Hakari or Yuta do it, then he'd be able to, because like he has a weird, really weird, like gifted technique where he sees something once and he can copy it, which is ridiculous, but I mean, I guess he's him. So I guess if he's seen it once, then he'd be able to do the same move.
But still, like,
Unless he
is
can
I
find
doubt
a
he
way.
can move his domain faster than Gojo can move with blue.
I mean, no, Gojo can just teleport. I mean, he
So, like,
teleported across the country. So
You
yeah.
can just leave, like, and play the long game. Gojo would never do that, and that's not my point. And I feel like when I make these videos, everyone kind of misses my point of no matter how you lay it out. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. No matter how you lay it out, in a 1v1 against full strength, right? Yuta doesn't win in any scenario by himself. It's
Whoa,
not.
wait,
I
against
can't
who? Against who?
against Sukuna.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, it just doesn't happen. It can't. There is no scenario I can sit down and write that is realistic. There's no sorcerer I can think of other than Takaba where I can sit and write a scenario where just, like, full strength 1v1 win. Gojo has the strength to do it. He just didn't because he's Gojo, and I prefer it the way it is, but I underrated him a little bit because I thought he was actually weaker.
I mean, you do have to realize that Sukuna himself was fighting differently, though.
Yes.
Because
Yep.
he did have, like, a game plan from the absolute beginning, which is, like, foreshadowed since the fight starts, that what he wanted from this fight was the adaptation to, like, get a permanent power-up, to bypass something like the Limitless. So you could even argue that if Sukuna doesn't have... This is, like, a really good argument. If he doesn't have the 10 Shadows, he himself would fight different from the get-go. Because, like, now he doesn't have this plan that he's, like, from the beginning of the fight, the very first chapter of the fight, all the way until the absolute finale. Like we can see in chapter 235, no 234, like when Mahoraga cuts Gojo's heart, and we can see Sukuna like learn the ability. He's thinking like very good, and just before then he's like hyping him up, saying, "Yo, give me something, man! Like give me something I can copy. Like you're my shadow now."
Yeah.
You can you can just argue he would fight differently because Sukuna from the beginning is fighting with this plan of Mahoraga in mind from the start, to get this power up and to have Mahoraga bypass him, to have Mahoraga adapt to him. So in the same way you could argue Gojo could fight differently, I think you could do the same for Sukuna, but it would be more in character if he didn't have the Ten Shadows. I feel like the Ten Shadows is the issue. It's such a powerful technique that you're giving to someone who's already top one. You basically get, it's like he's got two top five techniques in the verse. It's just so broken with Sukuna. It's
Yeah,
just
for sure.
unfair, I would even say.
Yeah, it is difficult to sort of like really gauge how strong Sukuna is when we haven't seen that full. Because post Gojo fight, he's never been at. He might be using more techniques now and revealing more about his technique and stuff, even if it's just a little bit. We still haven't seen like full strength because he's always had his output kind of,
Yeah, I mean,
knocked down a
Yuta
bit.
said if he wasn't nerfed like heavily, he would have instantly killed
Yeah,
like,
they're just
both
all
me and
dead.
Yuji. And Sukuna outright says like they're not as nearly as tough as Ryu.
Ryu got one
And
tapped.
yeah, like just a serious slash, instant blitz, insta kill from
Yeah,
16
just dead.
fingers, mind you, not even true form.
Yeah.
And like objectively, what Sukuna did to Ryu is what he would do to Maki, to Hakari, to Yuta, to Yuji if Sukuna wasn't nerfed like to the dirt, which
Hmm.
speaks volumes to how powerful Gojo is, where he can, without his technique. I want to remind you, he didn't have his technique inside of Sukuna's domain, where he was like getting hit by hundreds of these slashes, and Sukuna was getting amped by his technique, and Gojo didn't have limitless or anything. He was just like eating it
Oh, and
and still fighting him hand to hand at the same time.
something
It speaks
else
volumes, man.
about that in the first domain. I've noticed this recently in the first domain clash, where Gojo just gets outright trapped in the domain, like no technique. He's surviving just off pure cursed energy and reverse curse technique. Yeah, Sukuna's
Mhm.
actual like range of his domain is like 5 meters. Like it's not the whole city. It's like it's shrunk to the size of Gojo's barrier so that it can break the barrier from the outside, right? Because it
Yeah,
increases.
Gojo's was the size of like a basketball or something, a tennis ball, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, no, but even in the first clash when it was normal
Oh, you're saying the
size,
very first
the very
one?
first clash, like if you look, well,
I think it's like 30. It looks small, but I think it was said
it's
Gojo's
probably
like
more
the
than
standard barrier is like 30 meters or something, 25, 30 meters.
yeah. But still, like with the normal like 200 or like what we've seen of like 150 to 200 meters that Sukuna's domain would like
Mhm.
by default go to, he shrunk it all the way down. Because then like you see Gojo just sort of hop out of the range after he's healed up, and then Sukuna expands the range and Gojo expands
Yeah.
his domain again. So Gojo was like potentially, because the whole point of the escape vow, right, is like the more chance you give them of escape, the stronger the domain is. As in like the actual guaranteed hit does more damage, right?
I think it was more so. Let me go back to Shibuya, but I think it was more so in exchange for giving. This was what was said. I think. Let me double check it. But in exchange for giving an escape route, he's allowed to increase his maximum range.
Okay, I see.
So,
But didn't he?
chapter
But
119.
didn't Sukuna
So this doesn't make
break
it stronger.
Gojo's barrier by reducing the range? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure in one of the clashes, Yuta says like Sukuna's also shrunk his range to like have higher output and break Gojo's barrier.
I imagine it would definitely help as a binding vow, possibly. But I think it was. Let me wait. Did Yuji actually? What's his name? Did you just say that? Let me.
I'm trying to find
'Cause
it
I thought
now.
that was just simply like by the level of by the strength of the slashes generally. It was just strong enough to break it.
No,
So,
I'm
well,
pretty sure Yuta says.
yeah, at least okay. At least in 119, the narrator says like furthermore, by allowing an escape route, a binding vow is formed which vastly increases the guaranteed hit's effective area with a maximum radius of 2. So at least back then, it was just saying in exchange for losing. You could be right though. Maybe that like Yuta said that, so that could be true. And it could be like a binding vow on top of a binding vow, so it's a new binding vow. That could easily be possible. But at least like the first initial binding vow,
Okay.
of making an escape route, the only exchange you get for that is an increased range. Let me see what Yuta said. You could easily be right about this. Let me see. Chapter 228, I guess it would be.
Somewhere around there.
Tiny barrier.
Oh wait, I think. Okay, so that's different. I'm pretty sure Yuta says something. The narrator says something different.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Sukuna decreased domain range to raise curse technique output. So I guess that's a binding vow on top of the first binding vow.
yeah, I suppose so. But that's like the first domain. That's what
You're right,
Gojo
though.
was
Yeah.
standing in. Like Gojo was standing in, like this
Yeah.
broken, like really strong domain, which I'm pretty sure just turned Maharaga to dust initially as well.
Yeah.
And also when you actually look at it, 3 minutes is how long it took to break Gojo's barrier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sukuna did two things to increase the output. Sukuna decreased the range according to Yuta, which increased output. Also, removing the guaranteed hit from inside Gojo's barrier and only having the guaranteed hit active outside of Gojo's barrier increased the output as well. And it said that in 226, I think. I've just read it.
Yeah.
So that's like 2 amps he's given his domain that it doesn't normally have through like binding vows and stuff. And Gojo's domain still held for 3 minutes.
Yeah, like the parry on Gojo's domain is like ridiculously powerful. I can't even lie.
Yo,
It's one of those things where,
sorry,
yeah,
I
see
just want
that.
to read this out.
10.
Adrian,
Yeah.
the GOAT, as always, $10, thank you very much. My opinion has remained unchanged. With what we know, if you had Gojo and Megana fight 10 times, wiping their memory after each clash, and nothing holding back... and nothing holding back... Okay, I can't read today. And nothing holding either back, the fight goes either way every time. I can see that. I think it just depends how it's played, though, because we don't... Without 10 Shadows, we don't actually know what Sukuna would do. So, I mean, I guess I agree in that sense. Like, it will just play out so differently, and Gojo will either get slammed in, like, 3 clashes, or Sukuna will get cocky and think he's him, and then Gojo will smack the shit out of him.
I sort of disagree. I mean, I think Sukuna, because he's saying they wipe the memories after each time, I think Sukuna wins like 10 out of 10 times.
Really?
Undoubtedly. Like, it's not even... I don't even think it can be argued. Because you're basically just redoing the same fight. I mean, Sukuna won while he was holding back majorly, like holding back his transformation, holding back like the flames, holding back. So I mean, we don't even know what else he could be holding back. Is the scariest part, and also holding back the budget. Like, I think it'd be more of an argument if you say they keep their memories. Then I think Gojo has a chance of winning. Because then he'd be like, let's say you reset the fight, and you've given Gojo the knowledge of Sukuna's plan is like Maharaga. That's his end goal. Like, now Gojo's aware of the open domain. He knows from the beginning to make a close back. So instead of having the first 2 domain clashes where he loses for free, now Gojo from the beginning will make a barrier that's the size of like a tennis ball, basketball. Right. Like, all of a sudden, like, the only reason that if the last 3 domain clashes were even is because Gojo did that. But now you're taking away Sukuna's first 2 free domain wins, and you're making it like even from the beginning. I actually think Gojo, like, the chance of Gojo winning, like, it increases so much if you give him like all the info, and if you let him keep the memories of what happened last fight. Gojo has like suddenly a massive chance of winning.
Yeah, because he'll just get so much more damage done in those first 2 clashes, to the point where Sukuna like might actually have to expand as many domains as Gojo does.
Yeah, not just about like that is a big point as well. But I was even thinking about the damage to Gojo's brain. So now he's got 2 extra domain uses. Like, it's not because his brain, he can only like damage his brain and heal it 5 times before then he like burn out. All of a sudden he's got 2 extra like uses of that, and he would be aware of the whole issue of if I expand my domain after the 5th point, I can't do it again. So he might stop after the 4th one and keep the last brain healing technique, I guess, like as an ace in the hole. Sort of like, instead of pushing himself all the way until the end. Like, there's so much changes if you give them the knowledge.
Yeah.
I think Gojo has a decent chance of at least winning 1 of those fights, maybe even 2 or 3, at least. But if you just reset their memories, like, the fight just plays out how it always. Like, there's just so much Sukuna, like the slimy rat here. Like, he just got so much planned like the Maharaga plan, the transformation, the flames, like that. He's got so much hit. He's holding so much back. I just don't see, in my own opinion, like how Gojo wins any fight if you just reset them. It just goes the same way it did before.
See, that's why I'm really excited for Yuji to catch up to Sukuna's level much faster than Sukuna thinks he will, because a big advantage gained by Sukuna was by Gojo. Like, Sukuna was watching through Yuji and learned a lot about Gojo and Gojo's techniques, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, at the same time, I see that coming to, like, bite Sukuna in the ass, where Yuji has seen, and, like, I guess in a way felt, but more so seen, how Sukuna uses his technique and learns from that in order to catch up and use Shrine better and reach like Sukuna's level better. It's the exact same advantage that Sukuna had over Gojo that Yuji will now hold over Sukuna. It's like, because even Kusakabe said, just by having Sukuna in Yuji's body, that's like where this ingrained talent for Jujutsu comes from, because Sukuna just worked it into him like muscle memory, right? So it's now just like the same thing as like coming back to bite him, where Yuji's been learning from Sukuna and seeing everything like he can do. And now that he's awakened with the Black Flashes and he's awakened Shrine, can properly start to get into it a lot faster than Sukuna probably thinks he can. Sukuna just hates him as well, wants him to fail everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it definitely, just seeing how Sukuna uses technique, seeing how Sukuna does everything, it definitely doesn't help Sukuna's case. And also because you reveal a lot of Sukuna's weaknesses. Or imagine if he had to fight Maguna, from the beginning of, like, he's got his transformation hidden, full output, full everything, full domain. He's got Maharaga, like, it does make quite a big difference. But I see what you mean though, like, it does make Yuji just better, watching the fight, learning from it. I think it helps. It does help quite a lot. And probably will play a big role later on. I mean, it's playing a role even now.
Yeah. We won't go for too much longer, I don't think. But I do have one or two questions. Actually, I'm going to read a little bit of chat first, and then... Right, let me see what you guys have been up to. TCB translation states that Sukuna's domain sent slashes on the scale of Shibuya. I mean, I think... Wait, that's TCB in terms of... You mean the recent chapter, right? That just means his domain range is back to normal.
Wait, which one? Wait,
So I think in the most recent chapter where Sukuna expands as... Oh, sorry, the comment is Amath Cognac.
Oh, guys, TCB translation states that Sukuna's domain current slashes on the scale of Shibuya. I think it was the range. You just said that as well, right? The range is
the range is just back to its normal range, I think.
The slashes are at max output, which is crazy.
That is crazy. Maki should be really thankful for Miwa, because
Maki would be dead.
I think Maki would be in many pieces right now otherwise.
Shout Miwa, man. Shout.
Who would have
my
thought?
goat would. Yeah, I knew it. That's my goat, man. It's the goat.
Let's see. Sukuna didn't take off his sure hit and shorten his range at the same time. That was two different clashes. Pretty sure he did, no? Well, I think once he changed one of them, he just kept it for the rest of the clashes. Why? So, like, for one of them, it was just one, but then he would just keep that condition for the next one.
I think it was Was it the fourth or third? Let me check. Oh no, it was a second, was it? Which one? Let me check.
Second was when he removed the sure hit from inside.
Yeah.
And third was when he shrunk it down to increase
range.
output. So it's like, for the third one, why would you then put the sure hit back on the inside, you know? Like, surely you just keep it, and then you just have more, like,
it's like output. You were saying before, right? Gojo's barrier is just pretty strong.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's really strong, yeah.
And this is why, this gets to me, right? This is Sukuna we're talking about. And it's Gojo too, I get that. But, like, this is Sukuna we're talking about with these amps, and it still took 3 minutes, yeah? Open domain barriers are not an insta-win unless you're Sukuna. Because this is what everyone's like, Kinjaku top 3 slams Yuta because open domain is easy win. Like, just because Kinjaku has an open domain barrier, like, does not mean that he has an insta win against Yuta. It doesn't work like that. You first clash in terms of actual guaranteed hit refinement, and then if you're clashing domains, that's when you can start attacking the barrier from outside. But that takes time, and even Sukuna, even Sukuna recognized Yuta's barrier as being impressively high level. Like he took a moment and was like, this is some serious shit he's got going on here with his domain. Kinjaku, it's close, but like Yuta can beat Kinjaku. Like it can be done.
Again, I'll say this here, excluding like the refinement or like if you can make it open or not, like just simply by domain function, how strong the domain is like on the inside,
Yuta.
and like how good the technique is. Yes, Yuta. Like
Yuta.
No one comes. He can do Gojo's technique. I mean, he can't use the limitless, but I'd be certain he could put like maybe not actually. I don't know about that one, but he literally can put Gojo's own domain. Sukuna's own technique. Like he can put that as a shot. He can put Angel's technique as a shot hit. He not only can he swap out any shot he wants, but unlike other domains, like most other domains, his domain gives him a massive. He gets unlimited copy, even without the shot. Like his domain is stupidly strong, and like removing the whole aspect of domain clashes and like, refinement and open, just how good a domain is. Like his is the best. It can't even be argued. His like number one by like several tiers above like Sukuna's, Gojo's, Kinjaku. Like, nothing's close.
Yeah, I mean, like
not even
the thing is, Yuta's got such a broken mechanic built into his domain because like most domains just have the guaranteed hit, right? Like you have the sure hit. Gojo's sure hit is broken, but he's still only got the sure hit. Same with Sukuna. Yuta has got the sure hit, and then he's got a built-in domain counter. So you want to sit there and use your simple domain and your, Hollow Wicker Basket? He's got swords scattered all around the place of, like, some broken curse techniques. A load of broken curse techniques that he will just wail on you, regardless of whether his domain is, like, the guaranteed hit is active or not. If you clash your domain with him, he has the advantage always fighting in the domain because he has a mechanic that allows him to use these techniques regardless of the guaranteed hit. Like, he just has techniques he can use. So, it's so broken to just be able to have the advantage fighting in the domain, even if your guaranteed hit isn't, active at the moment. And he can choose his target, and he can shift his barrier coordinates. It's crazy strong.
Yeah, it's just, in terms of function, like, it's just number one.
Wait, no, because Sukuna would have to touch Gojo. My chat loves to just talk about. They just have their own conversations. Ignore whatever we're talking about every time. I actually love it. Adrian, this guy, man, $5. Thank you very much again. If you were to wipe Gojo and Sukuna's memory of each other, so Sukuna no longer has prior intel on Gojo, how would Gojo versus Megana go in your opinions? Wait, so Gojo has no information, Sukuna has no information. Probably.
Sukuna like dog walks, because then Gojo wouldn't have any knowledge on Ten Shadows, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like he would have no idea, no idea about adaptation.
Yeah,
no
he's
idea
screwed.
what's going on with that. He's like absolutely cooked, like beyond belief.
And the thing is, like Sukuna will probably, I don't know, try and hit Gojo twice, learn what Infinity is before they even expand their first domain, and then he's got his plan laid out for him. Like, realistically, it doesn't matter that much about,
I guess the 6 eyes. Wait a minute, because like, how much would he? I guess maybe he'd get like the idea of the 10 Shadows.
I think he knew
details of each.
No, I think he knew Shrine in that fight.
Like, not Shrine. I just meant like the issues Mahoraga. Like, would he know?
Yeah.
The details of Mahoraga? If he does, like,
well, it took him a while to even notice that he was actually using 10 Shadows, right?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Like he's screwed.
It's over. Yeah.
That always sort of, I guess I kind of just thought it was a given. If Gojo was concentrated on other things, it kind of makes sense. Just always jarred me a little bit that he had this moment 5 chapters later of like, oh yeah, you're using 10 shadows. It's active on Megami Soul. I can suddenly see it now. And it showed like the little like infrared sort of image of Gojo staring at Sukuna with his 6 eyes. Just noticed in that moment. Yeah, is one of the very few things that I'm like, I don't see why he wouldn't have noticed that sooner if he was able to notice it then.
Yeah, it's unlucky, man. I can't even lie. For Gojo, it's just like a lot of these scenarios just Sukuna's just strong. I don't know what to say.
We've got a question from Plank. What does Miguel's feats of speed blitzing and physicals mean for Geto and the Heavenly Frauds?
I mean,
I think Miguel
yeah,
Miguel slams Geto. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I think Miguel cooks Geto.
Like he genuinely just beats like in every single way
fair.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn! I had a question for you. I can't remember what it was now. It's a good question as well. Shit. Oh yeah, that was it. So shrine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? I mean, are you on board with the whole shrine kitchen cooking idea?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So do you think the cooking part is like? Do you think that is the shrine technique, or do you think the shrine technique, like the core of the shrine, like the shrine technique, base shrine technique? Do you think that is the cooking, or do you think that's Sukuna's interpretation of the technique? Like, would it have to be cooking for Yuji? Or do you think it works differently?
No, I think as of now, that's what it is, like a kitchen cabinet.
Right.
Which is like the oldest theory, which ended up being true. I think, unless we see something in this chapter that shows me otherwise, I think that's sort of the idea that I'm going on. So Yuji's got like his own tools of interpretation of tools. So he's got like cleaner's mantle, like kitchen cutting knives. He does have these scissors, but I think that's more so like less about the technique and more so for himself because he's new to it to guide him on where to cut. Because he's new to it, because like that's what it's like manual on where to cut things for a scissor because it's got little lines.
Yep.
So maybe if he brings out the flames, that could be like, I'm sure you've seen like theories. You know, maybe he's got like cold and freezing powers because modern day his interpretation we have fridge and fridges and freezers, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's got like electricity because an electric stove instead of a traditional fire one. Who knows? Maybe his fire would be different because it's not like a hearth. It's like an oven or something. But generally, I do think, unless you see something else in the chapter, I think that's the same theme is going on of Yuji, but he's probably going to have a more modern interpretation of kitchen tools.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think most people are leaning that way. I think that's very likely, and I agree. But I also kind of think, I mean, I sat and thought about it, and I don't really know what it should be. But I had a theory about Shrine, which if you guys watch my channel, you'll know that I'm always wrong about my Shrine theories. So it's probably not this, but I feel like Shrine is just a technique of manipulating cursed energy properties. Because Sukuna, every technique that surrounds him has something to do with just like different properties. So he's got Cleave and Dismantle, sharp, fire, hot. Uraume's got ice, and he's got Kamatoke, which is lightning. I feel like that's just a thing. And I think the cooking is like Sukuna's interpretation. Because he said like it can change based on mindset and what era you're born into. So I don't really know why mindset would change. Like era makes sense, like why Yuji would have different applications because kitchens have evolved a lot since the Heian era. But I don't see how it would affect his like mindset. So I feel like the actual shrine technique is a technique unrelated to cooking, and that's just like Sukuna's thing. So I feel like Yuji might have his own thing. And I saw people talking about how it can be like movies, and the little trim line is like a cut. When you see like on a what are they called?
Cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
And then I was like, it could be cool to have properties like, I don't know, sound or like electricity again. Like you can still have all these things, I guess, but I feel like it's maybe a property thing. But I don't think Yuji's will be cooking. I'm leaning more towards something else. because of what Sukuna said about mindset. And Yuji, he likes his food. To be fair, he taught Megami how to make meatballs or some shit. But I didn't
It'd
see
be
him
really
cooking.
fitting though, because Yuji is someone who, interestingly enough, he's more of a cannibal than Sukuna. Eating fingers, his uncle's fingers, like eating his brothers. He ate 6 of his brothers.
But he hates it though. He was
Like
like, he was sounded pained about it. He was like, it was like a chore. He was going, I'll eat anything if it means I can take down Sukuna.
but it's still it fits with the narrative though.
It
Even if he
does.
doesn't want to accept it.
But I feel like your curse technique represents you. Like that's something Gege said is like curse techniques. I mean, I guess it's not Yuji's curse technique, so
Yeah, I
that
mean,
would
yeah,
kind of work.
you're right though. Like it does change with the mindset, so maybe his would evolve in a different way. Um,
Because I also love the idea of if Yuji just has Sukuna's technique, it is really cool if Yuji beats Sukuna with it. But what I would love more is if Yuji's like version of Shrine is just outright better than Sukuna's.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I like. That's what I was hoping. It'd be a kitchen theme, but for example, because in the Heian era they didn't have fridge and freezes, his technique never got the ice power, so that's why he had Uraume to fill that role. But Yuji like would get those powers. Like his
Yeah.
by default would be better than Sukuna's, or maybe again his could be electricity and fire because of like we just discussed before, electric cooking, electric stove. So I think that would be pretty cool if that was the case. But it would, because there's the whole theory about how the translation for shrine is a cabinet, and because of that, people think it's a kitchen cabinet. So maybe his is a cabinet, but maybe it wouldn't be for kitchen stuff. So that like the scissors could be an omen for that. So instead of a cooking theme, he could have something else. I don't know. What would you sew in a cabinet that has scissors in it? I'm not too sure. Like tools, I guess. I don't know. Something
Yeah.
that fits with Yuji.
Like my, I don't know, malevolent air fryer. Why not?
Open air fry. I think someone said that.
Air
That'd be
fryer
hilarious.
open. Yeah.
That'd be
I don't know.
pretty cool.
What are they? I mean, I guess I don't. Okay, I apologize if I'm incorrect, but I know obviously we've seen chopsticks, very important part of a kitchen in Japan especially. Heian era, I don't know, to be honest. I'm not gonna pretend like I know. If anyone in chat knows, let me know if chopsticks were a thing in the Heian era.
Did they? I think they must have, but let me search. Did they have chopsticks?
Because I feel like that's a pretty
It actually
pretty common thing.
Did Japan? They must have had it. Japan invent chopsticks. All right, let's see. I don't even know if they did invent it. Holy shit, bro! It goes back to 1200 BC.
Right. So
yeah, they definitely
yes.
had chopsticks. yeah.
But maybe that's another part of Shrine in general. Then who knows?
I mean, it'd be pretty fitting because like Yuji had to. It's how they like. I think that's how they bury the dead or something. I'm not. Again, please, if I'm wrong.
No, I vaguely remember.
Like they pick up something like the ashes or the bones, something like that, of the corpse, some part of the corpse, like in some way with chopsticks, and they pass it around until they put it in a box. I think, or not a box, but like a
I mean, we saw Yuji do that.
Dude, that's what I'm trying to like think back on. Yeah. So maybe. Maybe it'd be like it, because like again, it's taboo to pass things with a chopstick from chopstick to chopstick because when you're eating food with people, because it reminds people of like when you're burying a body, it's very rooted to that in Japan. So, but maybe because like Sukuna's like fuck it, right? Maybe his does do that.
I mean,
because back in the Heian era, mind you, as far as I know, even eating animals was forbidden. Like it was considered taboo. Like forget like humans, just eating like chicken, cows, sheep. Like it was taboo back in the Heian era. And this guy was a human cannibal during this era. So
he ate his twin. To be fair, that's already like straight off the bat.
If there's anything like forbidden, taboo, and disrespectful, like Sukuna would do, I mean, I'm saying he would do. Sorry, like he would. There's nothing off limits to this guy. It's just insane. So if he has like a chopstick technique that's considered like taboo or something in the same way he eats people, like I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what that could look like. Interesting one. Also, I think water should probably be a thing. Like, I don't think... I know people think that Sukuna use water instead of Max Elephant's water. I'm pretty sure that's not the case, because right before that, Gojo said something about no matter like what he assigns to a domain, Sukuna can't use Shrine and 10 Shadows at the same time, and he's literally using 10 Shadows with Maharaga, so I'd be surprised if he used his own technique right after Gojo says that, but I still think it's a real possibility that he has a water-based technique, and it would make sense why Sukuna, with all of the access to all of the 10 Shadows stuff, why he would choose a technique to use in that moment, which is familiar to him. So I think that makes sense as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, it would make sense why he wasn't using it during the time with Gojo, because he can't activate two techniques at the same time. So even if he did have a way better water technique than what the Max Elephant offers, the issue would be like to use it, he would have to deactivate 10 Shadows and switch off from Maharaga, which he wouldn't be able to, which you just would ruin the thing.
Yuji is an editor.
It'd be pretty cool.
I've seen a lot of people kind of talk about this, like movies, because obviously Gojo trained him with watching movies. His bond with Junpei was very like based on movies. Human Earthworm was a big thing in Jujutsu Kaisen, which I went back and kind of I've got like half a theory video written on Human Earthworm and kind of stuff that it actually like foreshadows a decent amount, especially in terms of Kinjaku. I'd be cool with the movie thing. I mean, we saw Sukuna in Shibuya as well. He got blown into a cinema by what's his face, Maharaga. Came out with popcorn and Coke. Hated them. Maybe this is Gege's foreshadowing. Movies are going to be Sukuna's downfall.
That would be pretty funny.
I mean, it's definitely a thing that works for Yuji. Like,
I mean, yeah,
so does eating people, to be fair.
It would be so you could do so many things with Yuji, and it would just make it just depends on what Gege wants to do.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Narratively, he could do a lot of these things and just be like, and easily write in a way where it makes sense, where it all ties together narratively, thematically, especially thematically, because like he has been foreshadowed of a lot of things. I don't mind as long as it's like cool, it's well written, and it's like really awesome. I wouldn't mind it.
Okay, chat. I'm seeing people arguing about whether Yuta's domain's going to get crumpled by Kinjaku. I actually got off the phone with Gege this morning while making a video on this, and he confirmed that Yuta no-diffs Kinjaku unless it's a Monday. So stop arguing about that. It's just confirmed.
I mean, we gotta get Yuta past Uraume first. Oh wait a minute.
That's a harder fight than Kinjaku.
I was trolling, but I actually do think it's a tough fight.
That is like, I think it's a harder fight. I think Yorozu...
I think she smokes Kinjaku. I can't even lie. I think she smokes Kinjaku.
She probably does. I think she.
I know it's like an unpopular opinion. People hate her, so because of that they downplay her. And of course, like the one person she fights is like a no-nerfed 16-fingered Meguna.
Oh, I did a poll. I did a poll yesterday. I was saying who's top 3 in the verse. It was Yuta, Kashimo, Kinjaku, and Yorozu. And the comments are just, despite Kashimo only having 6% of a 7k votes, 6% of them voted Kashimo. But all of the comments are just like talking shit about either Kashimo or Yorozu, and they often tend to be a fan of the other. So the amount of comments that was like, Yorozu's not scalable at all, you can't really say anything about her, and then go Kashimo is the greatest thing. It's like, Yorozu is so much more scalable than NBA Kashimo is. Like, Kashimo,
the issue
what did we see?
Is like, there's just bias, because people don't, first of all, it's like people really don't like her, so that automatically affects people's like how they scale her. They can't do it objectively. But the biggest point is the one fight she has, and this is a big problem for many characters in JJK. I'd say this is an issue with the JJK fanbase specifically. They can't scale a fight properly if it's one, like, for example, if someone's losing one-sided, for some reason they can't scale the fight. They say, oh, this person got no-diffed.
Yeah.
They're just weak trash god. Like, they can't, for some reason, can't. It's like, how do I say this? One Piece, like every fanbase has the issue. Well, like Bleach fans, they try and say like every character. This vice captains out of verse. Like he could shake 5 universe. Like okay, bro, whatever.
Yeah.
One Piece fans like what was the issue One Piece fans have? Yeah, they rely way too much on like feats and things that happen rather than narrative statements or how strong someone should be narrative. Like they ignore that completely. Whereas the issue of JJK fans is they underestimate people a lot if they fight someone strong. If they just, for some reason they can't scale. They just refuse to properly scale someone if they fight someone stronger. So
Yep.
because Yorozu lost to someone who would no diff Yuta, who would no diff Hakari, like how do I say this? Yorozu's feats against Sukuna are like unquestionably 100 times more impressive than any one feat, or you could even argue every feat Yuta had in Sendai. But
Yep.
because Yuta
Fair.
and Sendai won, he looked cold, like he was like dominating. Simply because of that, Yuta from Sendai looks a lot stronger than Yorozu. Instead of like looking at this, like the feats, the scaling, the implication, instead of looking at any of that, people simply look at Yuta dominant. Whoa, what happened to this one?
Oh, are we good?
Yeah, did it end? Or did it just
No, I think we're all right.
um sorry, my Discord just started bugging. It sounded like it ended and called back. Well, okay, I'll just finish my point. What I was trying to say was like simply because she lost and she didn't look that impressive,
In the
even though
verse, it was Yuta,
you put
Kashimo,
Maki, Yuta, Hakari in that situation they were in, they do either the same or look even worse. JJK.
Yeah, one of them alive. They.
Well, okay, I'll just finish my point. What I was so then
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not just Yorozu, it's like many characters in JJK have this issue. Where they just fight someone stronger. Or someone looks more impressive. Rika has this issue like massively.
Yeah.
They look weaker or stronger. It's like a very big issue in the fan base. Every fan base has something. I guess that's JJK fan base's one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, the thing is, I get it a lot of the time with Kashimo because I love to slander Kashimo.
Yeah.
And like people always explain to me that. So the way I normally respond to NBA or Mythical Beast Amber, whatever he's called, Kashimo, is by like if you can explain to me, like
Yeah.
if you can explain to me in scientific terms what Kashimo's technique actually does and why it beats this person, I'll allow it. No one has got back to me yet, other than using like they just say like, well, electromagnetic waves means they can like use things like gamma rays and UV light and that stuff, and you know they try and explain to me exactly how it works. Doesn't seem like anyone actually knows what the hell it means. I don't think Gege knows what the hell he was really whether he was taking it. But at the same time, whenever someone does give me an actual good answer of like in more sciencey terms what this can do to a person in like electromagnetic waves and radiation and all that, what it can actually do, they make it sound so OP. To the point where then you can completely crumple their argument with, why is Sukuna surviving that? Like, if Sukuna's just tanking these blasts, like, they're nothing. Like, purple Sukuna's tanking them, tanking these hits. Surely durability plays the fact that you can just resist Kashimo's technique. Otherwise, Sukuna would have been cooked as well. So
Yeah, Sukuna would have had like
that's
blitz by light speed, head instantly lopped off that first punch. They would have been over.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I'm. So like Kashimo, some people make him out to be like a level above everyone else except Gojo and Sukuna. It's just not the case. Like he's beatable. His technique is not as OP as you think it is because it can be resisted. It's very OP, but it's not like they're like it just destroys everyone else, and it's not.
I think the issue is like the lack of a domain. Like he just loses the characters of a domain. That's such a I get he goes Hollow Wicker Basket. How long is that? Like if Yuta activates his domain, like so Kashimo has to focus on Hollow Wicker Basket of his hands, while like Yuta has unlimited copy, like sure hit. Like what does he even do? He just even if Kashimo is like let's just for the sake of argument, let's say Kashimo on base is way stronger than Yuta. Like if he activates if he activates like his technique, he's like leagues above Yuta.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Yuta activates his domain. Like Hashimo's just fucked. He has no domain to count. He has Hollow Wicker Basket, gets stripped. Has to focus on that. While
people
Yuta like
love the whole like, nah, you say
domain,
he doesn't have but they go like, no, you say Kashimo doesn't have a domain. You say this as if he doesn't have a domain counter, and then they're all like, nah, he's got Hollow Wicker Basket. Bro, the reason why domains are so powerful in Jujutsu Kaisen is because they're so powerful. Like, domain counters are just delaying the inevitable. So I agree with you completely. And I think, like, Hollow Wicker Basket means nothing when you're in Yuta's domain, unless you're Sukuna. So,
Like unless you have
yeah,
two
100%
extra
agree.
hands, you know.
Exactly.
Because now Kashimo's gonna have to like focus his two hands in the Hollow Wicker form. He's just fucked.
That's what I mean. It's like, just saying, nah, he has Hollow Wicker Basket, you can counter domains. That's not how that works. He can survive a bit longer than some other characters. That doesn't mean he counters the domain and, you know, has an advantage. He's still cooked.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. The domain is the thing that hurts him the most, man. That is like insane.
Well, and the fact that his technique kills him.
I mean, now no, you could still argue like, okay, at least he wins the fight before he dies. But I mean, he's gonna die anyway, and he's gonna lose. Like that just sucks.
Yeah. Right, I think we're probably coming to the end here, because I'm not gonna lie, my room is so hot. I don't know what's going on at the moment. It was so cold last week. I'm just boiling.
Bro, UK man, oh my
Ugh.
god, the UK weather.
Not reliable.
Yeah, it's just like boiling now, right? At least for now.
Yeah. Did I have any other questions? Can't remember. I'll have a look what chat's saying for a bit. I wish Kashimo's technique did more because the concept was super cool. Like, I agree. I think the concept was really cool. I would have actually preferred if Kashimo was as strong as people thought he was going to be. Like, if he actually did damage Sukuna significantly, I think I would have preferred that.
Yeah, I mean, oh, dude, you weren't around during this time, thank God. I had the most, I'm sure you've heard, I had the most insane Kashimo stocks you can imagine. Like, for 2 years, like a year and a half, I was hyping him up every video. I was making videos like, he's going to dominate. So I didn't say he'd win. Actually, like, he'd do really high diff, push him to the brink. Like, he's going to do really. And before it happened, like, the weeks leading up to it, and we saw him transfer, I was like, dude, Kashimo's going to. I tweet saying, like, I'll write a handwritten apology if he doesn't at least, like, mid diff, if he doesn't at least lose by a mid diff. Good. Like, I can't even tell you, man. I had to write the apology. It's still there if you want to find it out. Oh my god.
To be fair,
insane.
When
I learned my lesson that day.
When I was first reading through JJK, I did the same with my my Yuki stocks in that fight. That one fight we saw Yuki in. I was so certain. I was so wrong.
Yeah.
I had this feeling, I don't know, because we didn't see her technique, so I was like, I bet she's got like proper power. And she was as strong as I thought she was, to be fair, but to this day,
Yeah,
that's something I'm so salty about, is not seeing more of Yuki. Yeah, it actually hurts.
Ryu's domain, Uro's domain, Yuki's domain. Who else is like, wait, Haname? At least we got Haname's official domain in a game, at least, like, thankfully. Just like, dude, there's so many things. Yuki's domain is the thing that hurts the most. It's just bullshit. I can't even, like. By the way, you will rarely ever hear me say something like an ass pull or plot armor. Like, when I think I've only saved that for 3 or 4 things that have ever happened in JJK. Maybe like 2 or 3 things ever. One of those things is Kinjaku not instantly dying from Yuki's punch. I've thought about it 100%. In so much depth. There's just, I've seen every argument possible. Every argument, like, you can name it. I've seen it. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I had the exact same thought when I read it as well, and especially because Yuki can just, like, there is no limit on how
issue.
far she can drive the mass. It's just a limit on how she can control it. So yeah, it should have been cooked.
It's so stupid. Like, she can increase the virtue, like, to a point of a black hole.
Yeah.
And a punch? Are you kidding? This isn't even like Goku, like DBZ scaling. These guys, like, if you drop an elephant on Kinjaku, like, he would struggle to lift that up, like 2 tons. And you're saying he gets hit by like millions of tons at least?
Yep.
Eats it? Like, that bullshit, man. That's just bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. It's just stupid. Yeah, no, I also just am upset that we didn't see Yuki actually win a fight. I know that's a strange thing, but it's a thing with me of, like, I love seeing strong side characters win, which is why, like, hidden inventory is my favorite arc in terms of the anime, not the manga. No, Hidden Inventory is my like favorite arc, one of my favorite arcs in anime, because of like Gojo's comeback story is great, and then I love JJK Zero because Yuta.
Yeah.
People talk constantly about like I think Jogo versus Sukuna and Sukuna versus Maharaga are really cool fights that are beautifully animated. They're not my favorite, nowhere near my favorite, because I love having my protagonists like cook. Jogo versus Sukuna is not something I was ever interested in, so I just like it's a strange opinion of mine, but
That makes
I
sense. I
love a
think that's
strong
like
protagonist, bro. Just
it's
a,
why.
oh,
No, that's common because I think about it. When Sukuna was cooking, probably the most hate JJ has gone on in a decent while. Like, like, oh, this is garbage. Sukuna Kaisen, Gege can't write. Like, it's trending.
yeah,
Or it's genuinely trending. Yuji does the exact thing Sukuna was doing, but you could argue. I'm not saying it is. You could make an argument that that's 1,000 times more of an aspel than what Sukuna was doing. How Yuji cooks Sukuna. I'm not saying it is. Like, you could make that argument. Yeah, when Yuji did it though, everyone's like, peak fiction,
yeah,
peak
no.
fiction. I'm not blaming people, right? It makes sense. It's just like naturally, you want to root for the good guys. You want to root for the underdog, like the people that you've been watching since day one. You want to see like Yuji take on, the big, like the strongest guy in history. It feels good, and that's why stories work in general. Like it's why most people write the protagonist winning in the end. You want to feel, you want your audience to feel good about themselves,
Yeah.
or the story even, rather than having like the most depressing Sukuna body, like the most depressing way part, bodying each person one by one, just looking raw. Like as cool as it is, like we saw the reaction it had.
Yeah, for sure.
When Sukuna did that, which it is what it is. But
Yeah, I mean, I just,
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you know that I've said it a few times now. Like Levi Ackerman is my favorite character in anime.
yeah.
It's one of my favorite characters of all time. And
Shout out short people.
like
That's my guy.
again, and this is something I want to give Gege credit for because it's so rare that this happens with me. But in general, as a big nerd, I obviously love my TV shows. I now love anime and stuff. It takes a lot to get me to give a shit about the main character. Almost never care. Not my kind of like. I love my strong side characters. Main characters, not it. So far, so like Eren, season 1 to 3, didn't care all that much. Season 4, Eren, peak. Yuji Itadori, incredible main character. I love him to bits.
What do you think about Luffy?
I was just about to say the next one is like Luffy. I've barely scratched the surface of One Piece, I feel like. I'm like 250 episodes in. I love Luffy. Like,
Yeah,
I really love Luffy.
That's what I'm
like, since
talking about.
episode 1, I've loved Luffy, and that is so unusual for me to, like, enjoy it. Because even Yuji, I didn't care until Shibuya, I think. And Eren as well, like, didn't really care all that much until, like, season 4. But yeah, Luffy straight off the bat, incredible.
Yeah, Luffy's going, man. Okay, I'm glad. I was so worried. I was holding my breath there for a
I'm
second.
enjoying like One Piece at the
gonna say?
moment has been it's not like I understand the peak will come when I've kind of done the journey, From what I've seen, it's not near peak yet. It's just sort of really good.
You're on episode 2. You said you were on Water 7.
I've just finished Water 7. Yeah, I'm starting Eni's Lobby.
I mean, I would argue that like Eni's Lobby and all that stuff is sort of the peak.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like nah. Then there's Marineford, Impel
So,
Down.
my mates have said Marineford is like what I need
But
to
most
look
people
into.
argue, Marineford, and especially what you're about to watch, Eni's Lobby is like peak.
Yeah, okay. That's good to know.
You'll see. Eni's Lobby is like really.
I'm enjoying it a lot so far.
Wait, what episode? Like exactly where are you? What's happening?
Let me find what I'm doing. Actually,
Wait, so did Usopp die yet?
that's a.
No,
if you're gonna be serious, that is a crazy thing to say.
Bro, did Robin get executed yet?
Oh.
That's pretty sad when that happened.
She's on her way. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's so sad when they just like.
And just kill all your
Rob
favorite
Lucci.
characters instantly.
It's pretty, bro. One Piece gets dark, man. Like Chopper, eaten
274.
alive.
Let me see.
Wait, so
Let me see what this is. Wait, that's not helpful description at all. What was the last episode I watched? Okay, so we've just awakened second gear, or gear second, whatever it's called.
oh, when he's fighting Blue now.
Mm-hmm. Literally, that's the last thing I watched, and then I was like, "Damn it, get up and write a video, you lazy bastard."
Wait, did you see him beat? Like, did he fight him or did he just use
Yeah,
him?
no, they fought, and yeah, he was getting cooked.
He washed him.
Yeah,
he
did.
washed him. Oh my goodness.
I'm really interested to find out because I actually know nothing about One Piece going into this. By the way, like I have no clue. All I knew was that Luffy was like elastic and Zoro was really popular and had green hair. That's pretty much it. So I
Oh,
don't
so
know
you
what the hell
don't
this gear
know,
thing is.
like you don't know about like Damn, I was trying to think of a good fake spoiler.
Probably not.
You don't know that like Zoro betrays Luffy and like kills him.
Yeah. No.
That's
No, I
pretty
swear that
crazy
was
what happened.
episode 2, no? That was One Piece was meant to end. Actually, that's a thing I heard, by the way. One Piece was like meant to be so much shorter than it was.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 100 chapters. Like by the time Alabasta was happened, it's supposed to end. Like
Um,
the Warlords was something that was added as he was writing in the beginning. It was supposed to be just the four emperors,
hmm.
and then Otis said it was the Warlords that greatly stole the story. Like he was not expecting. Forget like even introducing them. When he introduced them, he wasn't expecting it to take so long because like the Warlord saga goes all the way, even in the new world, like it's still in the Warlord saga. You'll see it when it ends.
Yeah.
Like wait, chat,
Or
like episode, God, like 100, like maybe it's 800, I think, something like that is when it ends.
see, I got cooked. I got cooked very hard for this from all of my friends and also like Twitter and all this shit. But like, I I I think Crocodile was ass. I think he
No.
was so shit, bro.
Wait, you know what? I'll give you some evidence. I won't say what he says because it's a spoiler, but canonically, he's a massive racist.
There you go. Then it's justified. Like I'm well within my right to hate
You'll see.
Crocodile.
You'll see. I won't even say. Well, I don't want to say what spoiler, but you'll see eventually. Not eventually. You know, a
Yeah,
long time.
I don't
yeah,
know. I
he's
just
spoilers.
felt like
He's
I
racist.
watched like Mihawk
I love
fight
Crocodile.
Zoro.
What?
I watched Mihawk fight Zoro, and I'm watching this Doflamingo guy control people, and this guy turned into sand, and then Luffy had to dip his hand in water, and he wins.
To be fair,
Like what?
like that is, in all fairness, that is something that like it was a mistake. It really was a mistake. The power level of Crocodile, you'll see. I won't even spoil it. You know what? But just know, like he wasn't supposed to be that weak. It's just because the story at that point, like after Alabasta, he's planning on ending it shortly after that.
Yeah.
Get through the wall of stuff. Get through, what is it called?
Ooh.
But then
Oh.
you know it just got long. I mean, even like 6 years ago, he said it was 80% done, which would have meant it would have been finished by
Sure.
2023. And I think 5 years ago, he said the story is 5 years left.
Right.
And right now, the point we're at, we still have another at least like 6, 2023. So it's just like how it is. You know how Gege said last.
Yeah.
Gege
Yeah.
said it was going to end by the end of 2023, and here we are. So it's just how it is, I guess, of writing stories.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope Jujutsu Kaisen does not end this year. By some miracle, I hope Gege takes the time to finish everything as it should be.
Yeah.
Right, I am seeing an interesting conversation in chat, so I'm gonna comment on this, and then I think we're gonna wrap up because I need to eat, and also it's just too hot in this room. So I'm seeing debates about. I'm sorry, Kaiyo. I think have you watched Doctor Who?
Yeah, but when I was a kid, so I know like obviously TARDIS, some of the doctors, what is it called? At season, I mean, the little thing he has, like the pen.
Sonic Screwdriver.
Yeah, everything it does, like the laser.
Yeah,
it's most like plot thing. What is it called? Like the Weeping Angels.
Yep.
The guys who exterminate. I know some of them like some things like this, like some of the aliens as well.
Yeah.
Some of them are scary. There's like the devil at one point. It's a massive demon. I think I remember.
Literally the devil. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Doctor Who is like, I get it's probably not, objectively not there, but this is my peak fiction. Nothing will surpass it. it's so goated. I'm seeing questions. Wait, why are we scaling Daleks to Mechamaru? What is going on, guys?
Oh, I swear, like some Doctor Who creatures are like universal or some crazy shit, right? They're really
Oh,
powerful.
like if so, I didn't really do power scaling before anime. Didn't really know what it was. Don't take it too seriously. Based on what I've seen of how people power scale, bro, I have an insta win. Just the Doctor just feats and statements like if you want to take if you want to take that shit seriously, like all anime is wiped. You guys are done. I'm sorry, like you're
No, I've
screwed.
seen it like where he's like universal plus, like he can manipulate time. Like one punch, he could like he's like I don't know. I saw some guy scale. I think
There's a guy
I
on
think it
TikTok who
was
does
Death
it.
Battle. No, Death Battle made a really good video scaling him. He's like ridiculously powerful. Like what the fuck?
I mean,
I had no idea until then.
when like because this is the main thing, right? Is everyone thinks about the show, and there are some incredible feats in the show, but there were canon Doctor Who comics which are really good, and in that there's one. And this is so stupid, but like when people take anime power scaling seriously, this should count. If power scaling, if it's a thing, it should count, right? The Doctor supposedly there's this threat, a threat to the Omniverse, and the Omniverse is explained as every potential like universe ever. So like, and then they say it's like it includes supposedly includes like our reality, and it would include every fictional reality. So it basically just outright says like when the Doctor beats this creature and then saves the Omniverse, it's like it basically says like Goku, this guy just saved your ass. It's like what it's saying is like fiction as a whole is like was saved, and it's such a ridiculously stupid thing. But in terms of actual like feats and statements and how smart he is, I just have
It's
it's just a
crazy,
trump
man.
card,
Like,
but I just yeah.
where he's scared, like I can't even lie because I knew he was strong, but I didn't think he was ever like some of the abilities that he has, like devices. It's just like he just one shot so many characters. I'm like, okay, which I guess like it's pretty cool, but it does get a bit crazy when he's like this powerful, but then he's still at the same time sort of human level. I know he's superhuman strength and all that, but
I mean, not
I
even
guess
like he's very human. Like he could
yeah,
like
it's
he
just sniper shot. He'd resurrect, but
he's basically Usopp if Usopp was like the smartest character in fiction.
oh, he's a time lord, right? It
Yeah.
was so weird. I think they were like all killed off at one point, but then if I remember, they brought back at some point.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil. I mean, it's kind
I'm
of
okay with it, by the
it's
way.
like a
Like
concept from like
this
episode
is when
one.
I was a kid.
So like, he basically there's this like the time war, and it's obviously very complex war that two races who can time travel, constantly trying to go back and change events. So it's actually a war throughout all of time. He basically stole a weapon, like galaxy level kind of weapon, and killed them all, including his own race. And then later on went back and saved them all in like a fraction of time. It's a really good story. But yeah, realistically, in terms of like intelligence and also just the fact that he has time travel, this easy access, it's
Yeah.
stupid. It's so stupid. Like, it's actually dumb.
One show I absolutely loved as a kid was Wait, let me make sure I don't get it. Is it Sarah Jane?
Sarah Jane Adventures, the spin-off. Yeah, it's
Watson?
brilliant.
Is that her name? No, not Watson. Sarah Jane. It's just Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane Adventures, I think, is what
Dude,
the show is
because I was
called.
watching that as a kid. Oh my
It's
god!
goated. I love it.
Like when it was coming out until it ended, I was watching that. Oh, it's so good.
How did you
Like,
watch that and
was
not Doctor? You must be the only person I know who has seen the spin-off of a show and not the main show.
no, I've seen the main show. Like I'd seen a lot of episodes as a kid. I watched a lot of it. I was a big fan of it, which is why like I know certain things,
Mm.
but it was just harder to get into because there's like so much,
Oh, there is a lot. There's
right?
a lot. Yeah.
Because there's like decades worth of info before I'd watch. I can never fully. I loved it, but I can never fully get into it. But then Sarah Jane is like new, fresh. It was like from episode one. She had like the adopted alien son.
Yeah.
She had her own screwdriver. I was like, that's sick. And the Doctor came out like every once in a while. They came.
He did. Yeah.
Doctor came. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. No. Some Doctor Who episodes are like because it's very. there is normally an underlying story that it builds up to, but each episode is very unique. Like it can be something completely different to the last, which is why it's hard to rate it. Because some are like genuinely like actually peak fiction, and some are trash, like complete trash.
Like I remember there was the one episode where he went to where all the Weeping Angels are, like their place.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. There was this one episode where it took place at an airport, and he said like, if you no, not an airport, an airplane. And he's like, if you leave this airplane, you'll die. I remember that was very memorable. I don't know what was going on in that episode, but I remember that was like, it's very memorable to me. Wait, what are those things? Like the mannequins that move that can shoot lasers?
Oh yeah, that's like episode 1, bro. Yeah.
Like those guys, that was pretty cool.
I was terrified. There was in that same season, little zombie kids with gas masks that I had nightmares for.
Yeah.
Weeks, so...
Oh, that was scary, man. I remember that. Like the World War gas mask. That was scary.
Yeah.
I think the Weeping Angels was the worst one. That was like terrifying as a kid.
Allons-Y's favorite doctor is obviously Tennant. Yeah, look at my profile pic. You know, I get people on Twitter now genuinely going, nice Kusakabe profile picture. That is not Kusakabe. Kusakabe.
I thought that at first until I had to like zoom in. I was like, this is that doctor. What the fuck?
The doctor, yeah.
That's our generation though, because I think we're around the same. That's like our generation.
Yeah.
When we were younger. Tennant. I don't know how you say it. Tennant.
Yeah.
Tennant.
David Tennant, Matt Smith.
Let me search all. Yeah, Matt Smith. I think by that point, I think he was the one after Tennant, right?
Yeah. He was after Tennant. Yeah.
Because I think at that point I like stopped watching as a kid. At that point, the Tennant one was like the one and the one where he was the one before Tennant. He had like I don't know what the haircut's called. Like a buzz cut, I think. He had like a buzz cut, something like that.
The one before Tennant, yeah, he did. What's his name? Christopher Eccleston, I think.
I think that he was really cool.
Yeah, he was good.
Wait, so was Sarah Jane she wasn't a Time Lord, right? She was just a regular person.
No, she was a regular person. She was actually so there's how there's like the new Doctor Who and then the classic Doctor Who, like the really old show.
Yeah, was she like one of the? You know how there's always like another girl.
Yeah, she was a companion,
day, right?
Yeah, way back in the day. It was like third Doctor, I'm pretty sure. Third or fourth.
So is it the same actor or is it just the same?
Yeah, no,
actor?
It was genuinely the same actress. Yeah, they brought her back like 50 years later. And they kept going. It's great. That's something Doctor Who does really well, is like tying up like stories from a long time ago and keeping plot points, like little threads that they run through the entire thing, and like 20 years later you'll come back to it and make it one of the like most peak arcs or like episodes. It's just so good.
Dude, I just found out that because I was on Google and I see she died in 2011.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Isn't that when it ended? Did they have to end it because she died?
I think it I don't know if it was already done or not. But it kind of took people by surprise a bit, yeah.
Wow.
That's very sad.
No. Wait, let me see when it wait, the final episode was October 2011. Wait, she died in April 2000, so she died way before the final episode aired. So I imagine that's why they had to stop.
Yo, what's up, Kusakabe?
That's sad. Dude, she died in West London. Damn.
As Orange said, what Boruto episode are they talking about? Boruto wishes it could be as good as Doctor Who.
I mean, be careful, man. Boruto fans. There's not many of them, but they're very very vocal and passionate.
I've heard. Anime fans are something different, man. Yeah, some of you are like
very vocal,
incredibly interesting people, lovely. Some of you a little bit too passionate sometimes. Just a little bit.
You sounded like I don't know if you've ever played FNAF. Have you?
I have, yeah.
You have. You know, I can't remember his name. The guy who made like animatronics, like one of the original guys. You know how he's giving the speech at the end of one of the games where like the old bunny?
Oh yeah.
You kind of sounded like that. Like for some of you, that'll be a good end for some of you. Place worse than hell. It's like, oh wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm just overly British. The library episode is so peak, Julius. It's so peak. It's what's it called? Like Forest of the Dead, I think, or like Silence in the Library. It's a double part episode, and it's
Silence in the Library. God, that looks scary. I think I may have seen this one.
See, one you won't have seen. I wonder if anyone in chat knows, because this is Peter Capaldi, who came after Matt Smith. Has anyone watched Heaven Sent? Because that is probably my favorite episode of
Heaven.
like television history. Is like the best thing I've ever seen.
Oh no, I definitely haven't seen it
It's
because it's from one of the older Doctors.
Heaven Sent is so Capaldi's a goat, bro. Julius, there you go, my goat.
He's
what's
one
up,
of the
Eternal?
That was Eternal hit.
Yeah.
Hey, shout.
Henry Emily, who's that?
Wait, so are you? Wait, I wanted to ask actually. See, in a university, I think it's just standard for UK. Every university has like a Doctor Who society.
Yep.
Are you part of your Doctor Who society in your university or no?
I'm actually not. No. I'm not
What?
even part of Anime Society.
Like that's good, bro. I'm telling you this now. Like I went to the first meeting on the first time, like when I went to university first year. The most oddest, weirdest individuals you I just know about.
That's why I never went. That's why I'm not there.
Would it be the same for Doctor Who? I don't know.
Probably, to be honest.
Because like, dude, so many people in university love that. Like, so many people love and watch anime.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know. It's the people who go to society. It's like, dude, what the hell? Like, it never went. And it's funny because like, this is when I went in the first week, and then whenever I told people that, afterwards, people watch anime like, dude, what the hell? They're like, yeah, rookie mistake. Even though they love anime as well, it's like, you just don't. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Which is weird because like the Genshin Impact had a society for the university on it too.
See, I'd argue that's probably stranger than an anime society. I would imagine.
That's the thing. I thought that would have been 1,000 times worse because it's fucking Genshin. I love it, but like, you know, but it was better. Like, it was just surprisingly like normal people. I was like, what the hell?
Fair enough.
What is this? Yeah, I was like, what?
Damn.
This doesn't make sense. Yeah, I thought.
See, and I'm just thinking anime society. Maybe I'll just turn up, plug the channel, and leave. Like,
it is just filled with. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's like your university different, but mine and from what I've heard for other universities, like it's cooked.
yeah, I'm gonna stay away from my society for now. I think stick with. Because I mean, I say I'm in. I was in my karate society because I did karate for like 13-ish years.
That's awesome.
I stopped for like 3 years. I think I put this story on Twitter the other day. I stopped for 3 years. Came back to it because there's a society that does competitions at uni. So I started training again for a few weeks. And I thought like I would still be peak. And I was obviously not because I'd taken a break. So I went to this competition where there was this like under 21s national squad that I got put up against in round 1.
Oh no.
Perception blitz for instant one-tap perception blitz. Like I didn't see it coming. I had a swollen, like huge swollen eye. They pulled me from the competition because like my head was ringing. So they were just like, you're not fighting. So I turned up thinking I was still him after 3 years. I did a bit of training. National guy, like literally real life perception blitz, and they were like, "Yeah, you're not fighting, mate."
I mean, dude, even if you trained, like to fight someone on like national, you would have to train.
I got cooked
every day. Forget a break, like intense. That's probably what the national guys doing.
Yeah, they were crazy good.
No, but even then, like it's still possible. Because like national level is. Are we saying he's like peak of national, or was he just like a normal national? Because like because I play basketball to a point of addiction, right? It's pretty bad.
Right.
But like religiously, like for 12 hours a day or something, and like there was just one guy who was like he's like national level. He was like really good though.
Mm.
And it felt like, dude, it's one of those things where it's like, no matter how good you get, you're probably never gonna be this guy. Was it something like that? Or
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was. I think I could train for another year, 2 years. I think you could put me back in, like, just give me. If I never stopped training, if I never took the break, I still wouldn't have done much better. Like,
yeah, you know, I feel that, man.
It wasn't the hardest competition we were going to enter that year, but it was still a difficult competition. It was a lot more brutal because it's there's like less points needed for a win, less rounds. So basically, it's just you've got to hurt your opponent a lot more as opposed to going technical and getting points. So it was quite brutal. Not a great starting point to get back into it, but yeah, the squad like won the whole competition. I think. Like, you know,
So
it
you
wasn't.
got put up against,
No,
like...
I remember there was two twins in this squad, right? And in the individual competition, they were so good that they went to the finals against each other. These like identical twins that are like peak karate
This is
at their
Yuji and
age,
Sukuna,
right?
what the fuck?
And I was like, I was sitting there thinking like, someone could write a manga out of this shit, bro. It's crazy. It was great. It was actually really, really fun to watch. But yeah, I got cooked. I got absolutely slammed.
No, bro, if you're saying the national level and you just took it out, it makes sense. Like, the national level is something else. Like, these guys, like, from birth, but they came out of the womb, like, training.
Yeah. No, 100%, yeah.
Like, you must have been fighting the Karate Kid, you know what I mean? Like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Julius, Heaven Sent was the episode where the Doctor punched through a mountain of diamond for 4.5 billion years peak episode. Yeah, it's my favorite episode. Right, that whole story, that episode is so unbelievably good. The music, the like cinematography, the set design, the story of just I mean, do you mind spoilers? Like,
Go ahead.
so like,
Yeah.
he's basically been trapped in this alternate sort of this little pocket universe. He's been trapped there, and it's just a way of getting information out of him. And so it's like he can just give up the information. This thing sort of chases him around a castle, and anytime it gets close to killing him, all he has to do is confess, and the clock like resets. Everything goes back to how it was, and he starts over again. And basically, all he has to do is spill the secret, and it's not even that big of a secret. But out of principle, he does not want to give them this information. So he finds in the basement the way out, which is like I'd say it's probably 20-foot block of like this thing, which is 400 times harder than diamond, right? And so he starts punching it, and then he lets himself die. And because he hasn't got the information, they haven't got the information. They reset the clock, so you rerun it, but the punch mark stays. So he reran this scenario for 4.5 billion years until he had punched down this like 20-foot wall of diamond to get out, with just out of principle for not giving the information. It's so
but let's
good.
say like 1 billion years in, wouldn't they see that this guy is making progress? Like, yo, wait a minute.
No, because it's like a little device that actually belongs to him. Like it's I don't know, it's strange. It's like there's no controlling what happens. There's no influencing it.
Who are these guys that like they got him trapped here? How did they do that?
Well, it's all like Time Lord stuff, kinda. It's like the actual dimension is like it's a confession dial, so it's designed for this reason. And it's if he's like about to die or something, it's a way of confessing, like to basically make peace before you die. But it just belongs to him. And
wait, so
he got trapped in it, basically, because they decided to like trap him in it, but they couldn't influence it because it actually belonged to him, like it was his thing.
So they trapped him in his own. Wait, you know, I need to search this. Wait. Heaven Sent.
Yeah,
bro, this guy. You know, there's a character in Undead Unluck who does something. Not. Wait a minute, you would love Undead Unluck. Like you would actually love it.
I've heard good things. Yeah.
Because wait, Heaven Sent. Let me see this.
It's just.
Yeah, I can see him punching the thing.
Incredible. I'm also hella biased because I grew up with this show, like it was my childhood. But
that's pretty awesome, though. I can't even lie. The concept itself is pretty awesome. And yeah, he resets.
Yeah.
Wait, so you have to do this in an old man body as well?
Yep.
Damn. Why did I see him jumping out of the building?
I mean that happens too. It's so good.
Just watching it now, the trailer.
Right, listen up, One Piece fans. Don't care who's stronger in your verse. What are they called? Devil fruits? That's the thing, right? I'm wondering, is the devil an actual thing in One Piece? Don't tell me, obviously, if it's a spoiler, but like the actual devil. Is that a thing? Like,
I can't say anything.
because like, well, I'm saying 2 episodes of Doctor Who chat. Devil was finished. Not even a finale either. It was just casually halfway through a season. Defeat the devil of every single religion. Is what it was stated to be.
What is
the devil?
there's like this creature as well that keeps grabbing him, like chasing him. What is this creature?
So that's the thing that will like. It's basically, how do I explain it? The device like looks in his head and sees what he's scared of, and it's just a creature that's designed to look like something the Doctor was scared of as a kid, to make him scared and like want to confess. So like it's kind of like a domain. Like everyone who goes into one of these little pocket universes, it will look different for them, and then they'll be chased and killed pretty much unless they confess. The music in Heaven Sent is, yeah, it's really good, Julius. It's really. I mean, Doctor Who's music is so underrated in general. It's incredible. The only thing that surpassed it for me was Attack on Titan. Am I tripping, or have you still not dropped the Yuta copium?
Yeah.
What? There's no copium, bro. It's just facts. What? Yuta's alive. Yuta smokes Hakari. That's like, it's not cope. It's just facts.
That's pretty old. I can't even lie. I watched I don't know, it's sort of like a montage or something. The episode that was like awesome. I can't even, damn.
Ah, it's so good. So good.
Would have been, I think like this whole episode would be pretty awesome to watch. Like how did this age? So when did this made? When did this episode come out?
Oh, it's like, it's late. I mean, compared to now, it's probably like 10 years ago, to be fair. Let me see. But that's like quite late in Doctor Who. If you start at like season 1 of New Who,
I assumed because
like
it was like the older
10.
Doctor. I thought it was maybe like decades ago.
No, like the ones that are like actually like decades ago, you don't need to watch them. Like the old Doctor Who, it just doesn't. You don't need to watch it at all, because that's not like a good show. I think it's on Disney Plus. Well, it's on iPlayer, that's for sure. But it's now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing like all the videos. Everyone's saying it's like pinnacle of Doctor Who.
It's
peak.
Just peak TV.
Best episode. Like it's just people analyzing.
2015. Right, this shit came out like 9 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember sitting waiting up for Matt Smith's episode. I must have been like 7 years old. Damn. You know, I know Quirkless is a big fan of Doctor Who. Sure, I didn't know that was it was a big thing in the US.
Yeah, that is surprising to hear, to be honest. In the US, they watch
Yeah, they love the BBC, right?
Yeah.
Just love all our shows. It's goated, I guess. I don't know. Hakari smokes Yuta, but you're not ready to hear it, brother. Like, if people are still hung up on this statement from Yuta after seeing Yuta and everything he can do, I can't help you. I can't help you. There's nothing I can say that will change your mind. It's okay. I mean, we're allowed to think different things.
If you can't guide a lost sheep, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's cooked.
All right, chat. I know I've said this like 5 times in the last hour, but I'm going to wrap it up, I think. I've seen Yuta in half. Okay. Which point? Right. Have you seen a dead body?
No, Yuta's alive. Yuta's definitely alive, I think. We'll see.
It's 4 a.m. for you, Julius. Damn. Go to bed, man. What are you doing up watching this?
I think
yeah, I'm
you're right, yeah.
4 a.m. for you, Julius. Damn. To wrap up. You got anything else to say, Kaiyo, before we done?
Let's see.
Any thoughts?
All I'll say is you know what? Yuta's the GOAT. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Very valid. I agree. Yuta is the GOAT.
That's all I got, yeah.
Chat, accept it. Doctor Who solos anime, Yuta solos JJK, 259 predictions, Yuji. I don't know.
Yuji's gonna trap Sukuna in the dial.
Yeah, There you go.
There we go.
Perfect. Perfect ending to JJK. All right, cool. Everybody, go check out Kaiyo Breeze. I don't know why I'm saying that as if I'm not like
Thanks for having me.
massively irrelevant compared to a lot of other
No,
JJK
no,
YouTubers,
no,
but
no.
yeah, go
It's not
check out
true.
his channel. Go to Creator. I enjoy the content at least.
Thank you for having me, man. It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit then, and enjoy the